Hello everyone, and welcome to Prestige Encounters, the Dungeons & Dragons campaign with better twists than M. Night Shyamalan in The Last Airbender. My name is Salkos, I'm your Dungeon Master for this evening, and this is the Dungeons & Dragons campaign brought to you by Prestige Gaming Community. The champions recently met death themselves, and exited the haunted mine within the Shadowfell. But before we get into the exciting adventure, we would like to acknowledge the amazing artists that do so many great things for our community. We have Midnight Syndicate that creates goth, horror, and fantasy RPG music that you'll be hearing throughout the campaign. You can go to their YouTube channel, watch their music videos, ask your Amazon Alexa device to play their music, or catch them on Spotify. You can use the command !syndicate in our chat for a direct link, or if you're just, listening and you want to look at it later, go to midnightsyndicate.com for more information. We also have the Victor Brothers, which create Celtic and fantasy music for us as well. Well, they're great and we use it. You can go to their YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe to get their most recent releases. They're constantly releasing like singles, EP albums, all the time, so wide variety there for you to use that with your companions at home. For our character art, we have Starving Artist, who created the character art that you see on our stream right now. She is also creating the bust portraits for the Halloween one-shot this October 27th in replacement of our normal stream. We have two of those and they look absolutely great. Can't wait to show the community, all the players, what they look like. We also have 79 and Endo, who create our merchandise art, such as the cleric shirt that our Denton is wearing, with the design as well being used for Uzescu right now. Speaking of merch, go check out the mouse pads and desk mats that are new on our Redbubble store right now. So everyone, I believe that is all we have for announcements at this moment in time. But before we get into the session tonight, I'd like to give one big thank you once again to all of the artists. Guys, session 80 sessions of Dungeons and Dragons. That's 240 hours of Dungeons and Dragons, not including one shots. Like crazy. Let's right? Fucking go. So grab your snacks, grab your drink as we welcome you to our table and begin session 80 of Prestige Encounters. What? And welcome back, everyone. So where we last left off, the champions of Cataran ventured into a mine located in the Shadowfell, seemingly abandoned. As they ventured deep into the mine, they found a small pocket dimension that went into a portion of the Nine Hells, where they battled some chain devils. Is someone saying that correctly? Yes. I should know. And rescued Uzescu, a cleric of the Moon Goddess. They collapsed the cave behind them as a pit fiend was chasing after them, and ventured into the last option between their choice of paths, where they fought a bone claw, got some Stygian iron ore, and came to a bridge that led to a fortress built into the like the side of this underground chasm. And seen before was the concept of death. Death introduced theirself as the one who has been guiding Midnight Jack through his life as his patron. Instructed him to forge a weapon known as the Death's Dance, an elongated scythe with a strong curved blade made of Stygian iron, and then presented an amulet that contained the mortality of Veldritch Grimbor, Shada's patron, a very old and ancient vampire, which was revealed to be extremely ancient by the captured cannibal's soul from the Nine Hells that Elith managed to capture and that Ember set free. As Death gave his final guiding words to the party, the champions found themselves outside the mine, once again in the open world of the Shadowfell. Champions, what would you like to do?
I think we're gonna... should we rest before we start heading towards the mountains?
Probably.
Or has it been... have we long rested?
It's been a while.
You are still within a 24-hour period, so you cannot long rest.
So we should get started on our way before, and then long rest on the way there if it's that long?
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
We have no more reason to tarry. We've got everything we ever needed from the Shadowfell at this time. So as far as I understand it, from what we just heard, there's an exit through the mountains. That way, and I'll point to the mountains. Shadowkai said as much, didn't they?
He did.
We can just hope that when we get back, it won't have been too long. All right, let's pick up and move. Yep.
Didn't someone send out a message? Or am I remembering that wrong?
Not yet. Didn't you talk about it? Might be able to, but only if one prepares it.
I don't have it, but it's worth considering.
I haven't sent one yet. Just waiting till more towards the end of the day.
That's
just
fair.
in case we need that spell.
I agree.
Very true.
Yeah, I doubt it's going to be easy to get through there.
Yeah.
We'll fight through as best as we can, though.
We did just meet the ultimate fate, so...
Yeah. That is a surprise.
I'm sure we can get through a mountain. We're gonna be fine.
I'd like to help carry that ore, if I may.
I mean, it's in the bag of holding. I don't...
Oh, well, alright. Fair enough. That makes it easy, I suppose.
Yeah, sure does.
I thought we could only put a portion of it because the bag was basically full.
The ore topped off the bag of holding.
Okay.
I thought we put it in Huzescu's bag of holding.
Oh, yeah, because Ella's bag of holding is currently full from the dragon stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, the stuff from the dragon.
That was
stuff.
3 weeks ago, by the way. I think. When that
Oh
happened,
God!
Yeah.
We love it. We love to see it.
You love to see it.
So,
taxidermy needs to be a skill that adventurers can learn.
Isn't it though?
Are we walking?
Leatherworking. Yeah,
Oh,
we're
yeah.
kind of walking in a group at this point, like heading for the mountains. It's like just kind of walking in a cluster, conversational cluster.
I would like to be on my broom near the back for aerial viewpoint.
Okay.
Hey, Jack.
Yes.
Well, I've been working on that eye for you. I'm getting
Oh,
close. I have about 2 days left to
I
finish it.
I wonder how Stygian ore would sit inside something like that.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. And also the dragon scales we have. And wondering, with your connection to death, if you would like the eye to maybe have an effect that could paralyze your enemies in a way, like charm them or cause fear.
Something to that effect. Any of that would be useful to me. Causing fear. Okay, or paralyzing them. Holding them.
Yeah.
Is that even within your power? That sounds incredible. I would take any of those benefits. Certainly help me in combat.
I can certainly try. But yeah,
that's about
if
right.
we can-
But listen, if all it, I appreciate all that, and I hope you know that if all it does is help me see out of this side of my face, you will already have done enough, more than enough. And then I thank you very much for your efforts.
Sure. Like I've said before, I like making stuff. I like finding new challenges.
Well, I have a project or two for you, and I'd quite like to maybe learn a few things as well, if I may.
Sure. So yeah, if we're able to spare, I mean, I probably don't need much ore, just it's an eyeball. It doesn't have to be a lot. But if I could use a little bit of that and maybe a couple of dragon scales, I'll add that in and see what that gets us. Because dragons have that fear ability. That's why I thought adding dragon scales might do something.
You know what the dragon scales might be useful for is something like studs on a set of armor, perhaps.
Yeah.
Or
No, I think
leather.
so too. I think so too. I just want to try maybe a couple of scales for this. I don't need very much.
Interesting.
But yeah, I think we could make some armor or something out of the dragon scales.
Definitely
Try
could
some
use
scales.
armor.
What?
I hear the voice of fate.
What color Jack's eye? What color is Jack's eye?
It's gold.
Interesting. Okay. You know, if you had an eye with a blue iris made out of dragon scales, that would look on point.
Are you
It also
telling me how to dress, Professor?
Don't you say what you're about to say.
I think that'd be pretty cool.
Do you have any actually that brings up a good point. Do you have any aesthetic preferences on how it looks? I could have a cool slitted iris, like a dragon, or
a little ostentatious, I think. Interesting that might be. I'll give it some thought.
or color, yeah.
Make it shaped like a goat's eye.
I've actually put some time into making an image of myself, I suppose.
Fair enough. Which is why I asked if
Yeah,
you have a certain preference.
I suppose it's been useful to strike fear into the hearts of my enemies. Sort of where the name Midnight Jack came from, I suppose.
While this conversation is going on, I would like to detect thoughts on Hughes Eskew.
Okay.
So,
your surface thoughts?
Surface thoughts right now. Those spirits had it coming. No, I like to think he's pretty kind of interested in death after that entire experience, the Grim Reaper.
So he's just thinking about the personification of death.
Yeah, maybe like the direction that could go for the party.
Interesting. Okay, I'm not gonna try and probe further.
Who is currently in the lead of this group?
I think I am.
Gotta make a
I'd
perception
be up
check
there with him.
with advantage.
Cool. Alright, cool. While I do these. Here we go. Percent advantage.
Come here.
Appreciate it. Natural 20. 24.
Right.
Nice.
So as you're walking down this path, you notice that there is a small stream next to all of you, kind of like babbling. The water, this murky gray, and you hear some voices ahead.
Oh. Voices. What kind of voices?
So you hear one being like, it's kind of going, hello? Lost.
Did that say lost?
Is that Stitch?
No, I can do Stitch. I can do Stitch if you want.
Yeah. I'll put a hand up.
Lost.
Is this in
We
common?
may have another
Yes.
What
we
did we
may
fight
have another
before? It was loneliness, right?
The loneliness, yes.
Yeah.
Because. Alright, let's get a quick look. It's just ahead of us, and it may have just heard us. So we'll probably have to deal with it at some point. So, may I scout ahead?
Sure.
And just get a quick look?
Go for it.
Shall I do a stealth check?
Take my frog. I'm gonna watch through the frog's eyes.
Cool. Yeah, I've got a little frog on my shoulder.
Gotta make a stealth roll.
Cool. 28.
All right. So you crouch down and low, and you kind of begin to inch yourself forward. You come over a hill, and you begin to hear a second voice, and then a third. The second and third voices sound eerily similar. Fight me! And as you kind of peek your head over the hill, like crouching low, you see two creatures, one skinny and tall with two arms and these four spider-like appendages coming from its back and mid sides. So 4 arms total. The other one sitting on the opposite side of the path has 2 heads and these gangly long arms, kind of misshapen and crooked as torso, with hooks on the end of its these appendages and arms that it has. 2 heads mount its shoulders, kind of like seem to grow out from one another like tumors. Leathery gray skin and sharp teeth. Hollow white blobs for eyes. The voice next to the voice that just said "fight me," another one says "yes, fight." And this tall skinny one goes, "I'm lost. Help me find my way home." He doesn't want to fight. Ah! And the 2 heads begin to bicker at each other.
Oh.
This is so funny.
So they're pitting like the 2 monsters against each other. Is that what's going on here? Am I witnessing a Shadowfell cockfight?
I think
they want
one
to
head
fight.
wants to
So?
fight. The one thing is lost,
two-headed
and the other head.
creature wants to fight, but the kind of like whining creature that's saying that's lost is just saying that's lost.
Looking
It's
for
not
help.
engaging in the fight. And the 2 heads are now arguing with each other over this creature not wanting to fight.
Okay. I'll back up, and as I do so, I'd like to have a look to see if there's any way around these suckers, because this looks like a lot. Just so I can report back to the group about
Make a perception check.
it. Sure.
And my frog also look
Yeah.
around.
Gonna make a
Oh
perception
yeah, I'll
check
hold
for-
up Ember's frog. Yeah, let's have a look. I hope it's better than a 6, Ember.
Nat 20.
No.
So the lost creature is standing at the fork in the road. One of the forks leads off towards the mountains, and the other creature that's wanting to fight is kind of standing on the road that you guys are currently on the path to the fork, facing its back turned to where Jack was looking.
Okay.
Let me go ahead and get you all a visual.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'm gonna go back to the group and report this. Well, there's a fight up ahead. At least there's a taker. Got a few mean-looking things up ahead, and I'll kind of describe them. Yep.
After Jack is done describing them, I would like to inquire if he knows if they are humanoid.
Get you larger so you can see them better.
Bigger. Monsters. I mean, they looked. If they were ever humanoid, they were really radically warped. I mean, these things look like they were born here. Although I don't know. Maybe long enough time you change yourself over time. I don't think. No. I think there was something else.
The Shadow guy didn't mention the thing turning into the lonely thing, right? Like how that happened.
Yes.
So yeah, it's just
Can I?
that.
So I've seen these things through the eyes of my frog. Can I make a kind of check? So I know I have read about the lonely. Can I see if I have read about these ones as well?
Yeah, go ahead and make an Arcana check.
Okay. 24.
24. So those who wander into the Shadowfell often find themselves trapped within the monotonous paths and landscapes and the shades of gray. It's very hard to distinguish one tree from another just due to how everything looks basically the same. The rise of anxiety and panic and the strong emotions of being lost throughout this land begins to warp these creatures into what is known as the lost. These creatures want to embrace other beings that they find during their wandering throughout the gray tone landscape of the Shadowfell, and fighting their embrace simply makes them fight harder for the solace of your touch.
Okay.
Now, there is the other creature.
Yeah.
Those who give in to strong feelings of anger while they're traveling through, mainly parties who one person who just feels like they're being disagreed with constantly and begin to divide themselves off from everything else, gives into that anger, just continues to grow, and then metamorphosizes them into what's known as the angry. These beings want to always take their anger out on another being or creature. Fighting is what they live for now, at least.
Oh god, are we gonna fight another version of Reven? Maybe we should just let them fight and or hug it out.
It doesn't sound like they're. It doesn't sound like it's really working out between the two. But you know what I'm not seeing? They're not killing each other. That's what's interesting to me. It's strangely civilized up there. The lost, the huggy thing, and doesn't want to fight the fighty thing. The fighty thing's just sort of standing there shouting at him. I have to wonder if there's anything we could get out of him. The big one.
Well, as far as I can tell, we can get a fight out of the big one and a hug out of the spindly one. I'm not sure I want to do either of those things. Maybe let's just go around.
It'd be a deadly thing either way. Yeah. Let's Let's try that. But keep an eye out, and let's step softly. The thing is, they're right at a crossroads, and we need to get at least around them, but in the direction that they are blocking at the moment.
This way is towards the mountains, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, how's this terrain out here look? Just like impassable?
Is it flat?
It is rocky and uneven. You didn't quite get a look at the landscape per se. You know that's rocky. It's a lot of the rocks are obstructing your view from the vantage point. You don't know what could be in between these like half hills and boulders.
I have an idea. Myself and Elith can fly and take people with us. Why not just fly over these?
I can do that.
Can you take enough of us?
Yeah, we just
Well-
take turns.
I can take 2 at a time.
What's the lighting here?
Splitting us up.
Let's see. So we could get 5 people to go.
To tell you what, Elith, what about right now? Maybe you could just scout out just from where you are on your broom, and then give us a bit of an idea about what other things we might have to worry about out there. Because for all I know, that was just one of the very many things we might have to face in this terrain.
Yeah. Do you want me to scout this area over here?
Maybe in the immediate area, yeah.
It's at this point
Like, can I see
you
that
all
far?
begin to hear shouts of alarm. Jack, you kind of peer back over the hill, and you see as the angry is you get, it takes you a few seconds to get back to the hill and like look over, and you just see the loss like lying on the ground, this black ichor kind of like pouring out its like now gourd open chest.
Ugh. Should have participated, I guess. Well, it's one less to worry about.
Should we just?
How does the angry look? Does it look injured at all?
He's covered in this black ichor. It's kind of hard to tell
Okay.
what's his and what's the loss.
Okay. Let's try to go around that.
Hold on. I wanna. Okay, never mind.
Oh.
By the way, Ember, you would have known that altogether these creatures are beginning have a name to the collective, like the magical effects and the grouping of these creatures are known as the Sorrow Sworn.
Right.
Sworn. So.
Okay.
I would like to just go ahead and take a look, do a little bit of flying. Go here maybe, and then into the air.
Make a stealth
try to
check
get a
with disadvantage.
Disadvantage.
You're flying into the open air.
Okay. Are you kidding? I got a natural 1.
Oh my god.
Ooh.
Get prepared to fight, guys.
Falls off the broom.
Uh-oh.
So as you fly up, a bramble kind of like tugs at your broom, and like for a moment you get caught. You let out a gasp of alarm, and as soon as you like let out this gasp, and you're about 20 feet into the air, the creature now has hook arms hanging down the side. One of the heads, full 180 turn in an instant, looks right up at you.
Brand.
Can I?
We're rolling initiative.
Yeah, we're. This is
No,
it.
you cannot.
I was gonna ask if I could react, but it didn't really do anything. It just looked at me and scared me. So.
Where's my token?
So everybody, it's time to roll initiative.
Can I get token, please?
Oh boy.
I can has token.
No.
It's the cleric token.
Oh,
I
I think that
think-
one.
I think your token got copied off the page. So let me go ahead and fix that.
Okay.
There you go.
Thank you.
What did I roll for that? Ooh. Ooh.
Look at that initiative.
Mm,
Oh shit! Look at Shada's.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm not too happy about that.
None of us.
Yeah.
I don't know what
That's-
y'all talking about.
That ain't good.
None of
That
us
ain't good, guys.
fast.
With with advantage and a +2, I got an 8. That's not ideal.
This is gonna be easy. One guy.
Yeah.
Like
That we know
maybe
of.
3 of us.
All right, is everybody on the board?
Yeah.
Oh, actually, well, that's a problem now.
Looks like it.
All right, you watch as this thing begins to just like full on Titan run in your direction, Elif. That is gonna be 30 feet of movement. It's like looking up at you, but then one of the other head immediately turns and it sees Jack, who's now right next to him. Yeah,
How tall is this thing?
it's medium height, but it's like
So it
running
can't reach.
as far as you know. You don't know. Yeah, it is gonna make 2 hook attacks against Jack.
Okay.
Mr. Jack. First
Yeah.
first roll with my new die. Here we for combat. Here we
Let's
go.
see what
That
see what
is
it
going
does.
to be a 25 to hit.
Oh, that's gonna hit me.
All
Oh,
right.
this is not looking good already.
Ooh.
Real quick, how long has it been since we entered the mines?
About 10 hours. It's the middle of the
Fuck.
night.
Okay. Cool.
All right, so Jack, that is going to be 15 points of piercing damage with 1 hook
Ouch.
attack, as it just like slashes and like pierces in your skin. The other
Okay,
one
I'll take it.
swings, and it misses with a natural 5.
Ooh, all right.
And that will be its turn. Jack, it is now your turn.
Okay,
Zarfon
well, it's I mean, it's right friggin' here. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go for an attack. Green Flame Blade.
All right.
I'm gonna lash at it right now. It's not a hit. Here comes the attack. Roll. And 18 to hit.
That will just hit.
Ooh, good to know. Just hit. Okay, cool. So here comes the damage. Piercing damage, 31 points of piercing damage. Fire damage, 14 points of damage.
Yeah.
31 piercing,
Don't
magical
get
piercing.
Sneak attack.
Yes, I do.
It's not engaged.
I'm a swashbuckler, and he's adjacent to an enemy.
He's not.
Swashbuckler gets sneak attack when you're just within 5 feet of the enemy. It's
When you're by
the
your-
rakish audacity feature.
You're
Huh.
by yourself within 5
Yep.
feet, but
Yep.
Elith is in the air, so
I would say since it's not immediately within 5 feet, it counts. That works. Yeah. Yeah. So you do get sneak attack. So a total of 45 points of damage. As you do this damage to it, lets out a roar, not of anger, but out of a mixture of anger and satisfaction.
Uh-oh. Okay. Cool. I'm gonna run. I'm running. So
Good call.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Let's enjoy
Right over
this.
here. Yeah. Bonus action hide if I can. I'd like to look for a place to hide. Can I break line of sight somewhere here?
Yeah, those are all rocks. So go ahead.
Cool. Bonus action hide. Da-da-da-da-da.
Oh,
Sure. Fuck all that. Here we go. 28.
All right. Duly
Okay,
noted.
I guess I'll put myself there. There we go, 28. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
does that feature give you disengage too?
When you attack, when you make the attack action, you can you don't take opportunity attacks.
Swashbucklers
cool.
are kind of
Broken.
Awesome.
Jump in,
awesome.
attack.
they're like the
roll back
rogue
out.
of rogues. They can do
Yeah,
extra.
rogue of rogues.
That is so
That's
cool.
right. You get sneak attack just from being 5 feet from it. You get to add your charisma modifier to your initiative roll, and you get to just like run away from stuff if you hit it without an opportunity attack.
That's
so correct.
And Drunken Master Monk are similar in that sense.
Zark,
Too good.
it is now your turn with Elif on deck.
Alrighty. Let's see here. I'm gonna move out of the way a little bit. Like, I'm gonna move up here. Get kind of a clearer line of sight. And I'm gonna shoot at it with my +1 crossbow bolt, because I forgot I had some of those left.
Okay.
So, yeah. Here we go. Nope.
What'd you roll?
15.
Miss.
Alright. Shoot again. 18.
Will just hit.
Woo! Okay. 11 plus 1 for favored foe. He is now favored. And for my bonus action, I'm gonna shoot 1/3 time. Damn it.
All right. So as Jack and Zark attack this creature, you expect that this piercing damage, this slashing damage, should do quite a bit. It's not doing as much as you would think.
It does get an extra 1 damage though, right? Because you use +1.
Yeah, it's already included.
All right.
But now it's my beast's turn as well. So it's gonna move. Let's see here. It's about 15 feet. Yeah, so it's gonna move right about here, right in line with it, and then it's going to charge. And hang on, I gotta pull it. I always. There we go. Okay, and then it's gonna charge at it. So then it's going to do. What is it? So 20 plus 6. There it is. Nope. 16.
That will miss.
All right. That's my turn.
All right. Elif is next. Kelman's on deck.
Okay. I'm pretty sure I have another spell slot.
You only used 1.
Okay, good. Better, actually.
Best.
Next kind of question. I want to cast Hunger of Hadar. And the area it takes up is 20 feet, right? So if I go here, if would I have to cast it at this spot, and what would it be looking like? Oh my god.
20-foot radius sphere. So it's actually going to be, it's going to have a total circumference. Yeah, its diameter will be 40 feet. Yeah.
What? Are y'all?
Its diameter will be 40 feet. Yeah. It's huge.
Huge.
Well,
It's huge.
I cannot cast that. Or we're all gonna be Okay, cool. I'll just roll
Tentacled.
with. Oh my gosh, let's try an Eldritch Blast. Let's just go through the cantrips and see what works. So,
Okay.
I'll do the few of these. I got a 23, a 24, and an 11.
23 and 24 hit.
All right, and then for damage, I've got a 10 and a 9, and I would also like to push it back 10 feet, just once.
So as you push it back, it's like, "Rah!" and then takes its hooked claws and like pulls them into the ground and kind of like as it drags back to like slow it down a bit. All right. Anything else for your turn?
No.
All right.
Wait, am I still stuck?
No, it was the bramble that just alerted him of your presence. You're 20 feet up in the air.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah,
Kelvin, it's your turn with Huzescu on deck.
Okay. So I'm gonna run up next to him. I'll activate my Guardian Aura temporary hit points. And I'm gonna punch him. Let's
All right.
see.
Ooh.
27 and 24 with my Thunder Gauntlets.
Okay, both will hit.
So that's total of 25 thunder damage.
Duly noted.
And he has disadvantage to attack anyone other than me.
Okay.
Wait, let me make sure that's not a save. I don't think it is. No, it just happens if I hit. Okay.
Is that your turn?
Yes, because that's my bonus action and action and movement.
All right. Huzescu, it is now your turn.
All right, I'm going to use 15 feet of my movement to go over here for a clear shot, and I'm going to hit him with a. Okay, why not? I'm going to do a level 5 guiding bolt.
God damn.
I
Mhm.
found out where my token was. It was underneath Kelwin.
Oh,
Okay, so that should be.
I got rid
Already
of it.
then.
I rolled a 17 to hit.
that will miss.
Ah!
This
Ooh.
bolt of divine energy
Oh,
forms your
man.
hand, and you launch it, and it just like looks at it and like ducks, and it like shatters into the rock behind it, kind of like burning it and searing it away with divine light.
Damn it, 5th level spell slot. For my bonus action, I can cast a cantrip, right?
If you have a
Yep. If you have a healing a cantrip that is a bonus action,
I don't.
I don't
Um,
think any of those exist, so
I'm not sure. I think there's like one, but I definitely don't have it. I think that's all I can do. Yeah, I'll end my turn there.
all right. Ember,
hello, I would like to cast Mental Prison.
shot is on deck. Sure. What's the save?
It's an intelligence saving throw, DC 18.
Ooh. Okay. It's not quite intelligent, so let's find out.
You got me there.
I assumed it wasn't
Amazing.
very smart.
That is a 14.
That does
Nice.
not save. Wonderful.
Ooh.
So he takes 33 damage immediately, and he is locked into an illusionary cage of things that seem dangerous to him. So since he likes fighting, I'm going to assume a thing that seems dangerous to him would be like surrounded by a bunch of flumps who don't like to fight.
Safe
So
environment
So he is in a very
where we talk about our feelings.
a very safe environment with cute creatures all around him, and
None of whom want to fight.
none of whom want to fight.
Oh
That is
no.
all.
They just all want to be
They just-
friends.
Give them hugs and talk about feelings and
Friends.
This guy's having the worst day.
So you just watch as he's like taking his hook arms and like blocking his eyes, and like letting out this horrible screech, this high pitched screech, and like backing away and like just all out panic.
Yeah. So then I'm just gonna walk by him. He can't see through the illusion, so he doesn't know I'm there.
Okay.
My God.
Ember just casually puts his like hands behind his back, tucked in, just begins to walk past. Okay, Shauna.
Ember, be careful. What are you?
All right.
What's happening?
I will alert the party to what I did. Yeah. You can
I
just
can still
pass
attack him, though,
He's not. Yeah, you can.
We
You
should
can
beat him up.
attack him.
Okay.
I would.
We're
I would suggest
trying.
I would suggest using ranged attacks. That way
Does
you
that-
don't get inside the illusion.
Oh, if I get inside the illusion, does it like end or something?
No.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna still do it anyway.
I'm a part
Okay.
of the illusion.
Yeah, I need to. I'm gonna. All right, I'm gonna run up to him, and I'm going to make an attack. And let me do this. That is a 23 to hit.
23 hits.
And I'm going to make it a tripping attack. So, needs to make a strength save. Even I think he's probably gonna be good at these.
Just so you guys know, if he attacks anybody, the illusion goes away. But he has disadvantage on the attack, and he'll take 10d10 psychic damage.
So, strength save.
Yeah.
Okay.
Strength save, okay.
Yep.
That is going to be a 5.
Oh, he's prone now.
All right.
Oh man.
He's laying down in the grass with his flumps.
Okay.
Alright.
Teddy bears and
Let me just double check if I have.
Prone and restrained.
Oh yeah, he is restrained, so attacks
He's restrained.
have advantage.
Everything would have advantage on him.
crit for melee attacks, right?
Yeah,
No.
not ranged.
Alright, so Shadow's gonna make another attack. Since he's prone, he has advantage. 16. I know that misses.
Not quite.
Almost.
And Shadow's going to action surge.
Oh yeah.
Make another attack. Say 25 to hit.
Yeah.
And it's going to make another one. Wait, I didn't even say the damage for the first one, did I?
No.
Okay,
It already-
those two that hit so far, that's 21 damage, 21 radiant damage.
Okay.
And I'm going to make one last one,
Okay.
and it's going to be a 28 to hit for 13 radiant damage.
Another one.
So 34 total.
Total of 34 radiant damage.
All right.
And
If they're prone and restrained, are melee attacks crits or just advantage?
Disadvantage, I think.
I put Hexblade's Curse on it, so it's my bonus action, and that will be my turn.
Okay.
Just real quick, just so you guys know, Michael finally put a channel reward thing on the stream that we can use, and that is give Maya and Mistra treats.
Yay!
I saw that.
They have a global cooldown of 30 minutes
Oh.
for pet safety reasons.
I'm going on strike.
I'm just
So let me go get the treat.
Get them
bucket.
peppers.
1 second.
Okay. Well, give us time to plan, guys.
Yeah.
Nice.
And while he's gone, roll that beautiful bean footage.
It's prone and restrained at the
putting
moment.
a timer.
Attacks below
30
damage.
minute timer.
While he's gone, you guys, anybody watching out there in the Twitch/YouTube/podcast verse, come join us and play Minecraft. mc.pgc.gg. It's a grief protection, semi-vanilla 1.17.1 Minecraft server.
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool stuff. Here, Ember, let me give you a hand with
All
that.
right, here we
Boom.
go. Easy.
It's now in the chat.
Nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
Everybody loves Minecraft.
Also,
They got their
check out our
treats.
merch. Join our Discord.
All right, and we're back. It is now its turn again.
It was time to run the ads. Sorry.
It's going to stand up, and it is going to attack wildly about. What you don't know about this creature is that whenever it takes damage or gets attacked, it gets advantage on its attacks until the end of its next turn. So this is going to be a straight attack roll against Shana.
I don't think it can stand up. It's restrained.
From
So it has-
the pushing attack?
No, it's restrained from mental prison. Here, I'll put the thing in chat.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Speed becomes 0. So does that mean
So it can't
still
stand up?
Because it needs half its speed to stand up, right?
And it would have to break out of the spell first, I guess, right?
The target can't see or hear anything beyond it. It's restrained for the spell's duration.
Alright, so it's still going to get a straight attack roll. It's just not going to stand up.
Okay.
Okay.
She's gonna go wah
Cool.
while it's laying on the ground.
That is
like
going
a,
to
like
be
a baby throwing a temper tantrum.
Again, shot a 9 plus 817.
It
That
takes
misses?
60
It what?
points of damage.
That misses, and Ember says it takes 66 damage.
Is that whenever it trips?
It has to hit the attack, right?
No, it just has to make an attack.
But now the spell is
Broken.
ended?
But not. Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of damage.
It is.
So that's a lot of damage.
It is a lot of
You got
damage.
also-
Let me do some math real fast. All right. It is now going to stand up and make its next attack.
I am riposting before it can get up.
Go ahead.
All right, so check
We-
my last priority dice.
We love mental prison.
I've tried it 3 times. It's the first time
This is
I
the
got
first
it to
time
work.
it's.
Oh,
Yeah.
I missed.
It was
Sad.
great.
You did miss. All right. it's
Unfortunately, we were a little too close.
that is
It
going
would
to be
still-
a 27 to hit.
It would still be a straight roll with disadvantage from my thing.
Yeah, so 27 to hit.
Shoot.
Yeah, totally does hit.
You didn't want you don't want me to roll that again. All right, so yeah, you're gonna take. Ooh, I don't have enough dice in my tray for this one. One moment, because
Always the thing you want to hear from your DM.
it's rising. It has a rising anger ability. is what it's called.
It's a berserk thing.
Me angry, me no like.
So that's gonna be.
I see Demas is in the chat.
Demas!
Hello.
3 points of damage.
Oh wow.
Big whack. Spunk.
Jeez.
So as a person, it takes a massive amount of damage, and like its heads begin to like bang into each other to go through this like horrible confusion. This absolutely painful mental damage, and just gets angry and lashes out at Shada. And Shada, you also feel some of this psychic damage in your own head as like these angry thoughts just flood your brain and begin to like throw your consciousness for a moment. So you did take 3d12 points of psychic damage and 2d12 plus 3 piercing damage, in case you want to know how that was broken down.
All right.
That will be its turn.
Oh, damn.
Oh, these things are kind of like the anti-barbarian.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Oh, damn.
It gets angry and does psychic damage.
It is now Jack's turn.
Hey.
Okay, how's it looking? Is it looking
Oh,
wounded?
he's hurt. He's taken over 200 points of damage.
Oh, darling. All right. Okay, next question. Lighting. Is it dim light or darkness at the moment, or is it kind of bright?
Shada's
sunblade, yeah, it's gonna make it
sunblade
bright
is going to be
light.
bright light, and you notice it's kind of recoiling
Okay.
away from that as well.
Ooh, all right, good to know. Cool. So I am running up from it. I'm currently stealthed. Would I get like a stealthy advantage on this attack if I attack from here, or would going back into line of sight mean that I'm no longer stealthed?
You're
ruling on
stealth
this
until you attack.
Awesome. I'm gonna do that. So I'm gonna attack him. Green flame blade. from stealth, so I believe that gives me advantage. So I'm gonna go boom. Here comes the rapier up.
Here comes the boom.
Here comes the boom.
Who's
Here
that?
comes the
You
boom.
currently have been rewarded a DM inspiration by chat, so you may add that to your character
Nice.
sheet to use at your own leisure. All right,
24,
nice.
24 to hit.
24 will hit.
24 to hit. Okay. Here comes the damage. Okay. 24 points of piercing damage and 10 points of fire damage. 34 total.
All right, so you notice as it is in the bright light that what previously was half damage is now full damage
Interesting.
for your melee attacks.
Okay, good to know. Great. All right. And then I'm gonna retreat behind here. Boop. And bonus action hide.
Okay.
Just like that, really. And that's a 31 to hide.
That will hide ya.
Okay.
Damn, he hides
Cool.
so well.
Boom.
Zark, it is now your turn.
Bomb.
Okay. If I were to switch out a weapon, that counts as my turn, doesn't it?
No.
No, it
Switching
doesn't.
Weapons do not take an action or bonus action. It's just
Okay.
you
Cool.
you drop the weapon that you're holding, and you. The only thing that does require a part of your turn is donning and doffing a shield.
Oh, okay. Okay. Then yeah, I'm gonna put the crossbow away for a minute. I'm gonna pull out my longbow here. Finally give it a chance. And yeah, then I'm gonna shoot it with my longbow. See
What
if
is
that
all
helps any.
advancement?
New bow just dropped.
All right.
Also, dibs, just so you know. That's mine.
Are you using a charge?
Not for that one. Because
Okay.
I already rolled.
We'll miss.
Okay. Then bonus action will attack again. Yeah, that's more like it.
That will hit.
And then for 14.
14 points of piercing damage. All right. Anything else
right.
for your turn?
Then my beast is gonna back up to get a running start, like it always does. Yeah, perfect. So yes, it's gonna back up about right there, I think. All right, is that 10? Yeah, it's 10. Okay, cool. And then it's gonna do another charge attack at it.
Okay.
Let's see.
It's a goat. That's what it must be. It's gonna be a goat.
22.
That will hit.
Sweet. All right, let's see. Then
Knock it, bro. Again.
That's what it already did because the attack succeeded. And then using its small attack.
Don't use a small attack. Use a
How
large.
does your primal companion do this?
Oh wow!
Oh yeah!
Nice.
Awesome.
You just see this beast just running full sprint at the thing. Hey, wait, has he gotten back up yet?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So he just immediately knocks him right back down and just goes to town on his throat. Just.
All right. Kinky.
hey, this thing already liked pain, so I mean.
Yeah.
You watch as your beast charges down, knocks it to the
Harder.
ground, and it tears out the creature's throats. It has two heads. Throats. It's laughing, and then the laugh slowly becomes gargled as this black colored blood kind of begins to spill up from its throat and coughs. And soon the creature's eyes go dark.
Boone, stop it.
What kind of goat is
What kind of goat is that?
Demus, stop it.
All right, and that will end combat.
Oh, that was a tough big dude.
255 points of HP.
Sheesh.
I did 99 of that.
I would like to immediately return to ground level
I did
and
7
rush to the body
and
and
killed it.
hopefully get Zark's beast away from it in time. I mean, I don't know, kind of destroyed it.
It just went for the throat, so you should be fine.
I'm really curious to know. I want to see how the heads are built, so I'm gonna start trying to like dive into that. You know what I mean?
Built different.
Just real quick, you guys. It'll be like
The resident
10
craniologist.
10 minutes. You know, I just got
Alright.
Make
I think
medicine
you've
check.
more than earned it.
Calvin, you come here real quick, please.
Oh, okay.
Will you help me with this?
Yeah.
I
What are
just
we
need you to
doing?
hold. I just need you to hold the neck. And yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Okay, let me do a medicine check.
Mm.
Oh no, 8.
With
I'm
advantage?
Let
not
me
a
give you-
doctor. Oh, with advantage? Let me try again. That's a good. Thank goodness.
and let me give you +5.
Well, I got a 15, so then it'd be a 20.
So you kind of like position the heads like tilt the chins up, and like you notice that there's several layers of like this like fat tissue that kind of got torn out, and like it's wet and moldy, and it's like very what's the way I'm trying to describe this?
What?
Like gelatin like
Oh,
and like that's what the beast tore into and like tore out as it got to the actual throat. The heads are fused together at the cheek. They have 3 rows of teeth on the inside of its mouth with the needle-like teeth, like kind of like a leech, almost, or a worm up close. Terrifying-looking creatures.
Uh,
and how big, if I were to try to keep the heads together, how big would they be together?
Like if you put 2 basketballs together.
Yuzetsku, do you have room still in your bag of holding?
For the heads?
Yeah, possibly.
I suppose so, but what would we need the heads for?
Well, I could compensate you for the struggle, but I need them
I
for
propose
personal reasons.
we figure out some way to preserve things like this going forward if we're going to carry them with us.
I suppose as long as I have empty room in my bag, it won't be any
Hmm.
inhabiting.
Do you think that'd be better preserved than something that could keep it cold? The way that you keep meat cold?
Yes, or
Maybe in some kind of magical bag that could keep things cold, like a bag of colding.
Wow.
Why'd you have to say that?
All that for that pun.
We do have.
We had one.
We had
We had a
at
bag
one
of
point.
Colden.
There
Flint
was-
had a bag of Colden.
Yes.
I could maybe figure something out. But not right now, obviously.
You should fill a bag with
chill.
ice cubes.
Yeah.
Is Chill Touch a strictly attack cantrip? Or could I possibly use it to possibly
Chill
hold
touch
the
is
heads?
necrotic damage.
Necrotic.
Oh,
That sounds like the opposite
Oh my
of what you
gosh.
want.
You're
Yeah.
probably
You'll
right.
make it
but-
extra
That's
gross.
yeah.
It sounds,
Uh,
yeah, it sounds like it would.
Ember,
There
so
is a
looking,
cantrip for this.
Ember, looking at the path ahead,
Oh.
you do notice that
You have gentle repose, Elith. Do
Oh
that.
yeah, gentle
Preserves
repose.
the body.
I completely forgot that existed.
Let me go ahead
Sorry,
and-
DM. What's that?
So looking ahead on the path, you do see that there are a number of
A head.
structures lining both sides of the path. Incremental, almost as if they've been measured out.
What type of structures?
Go ahead and make an investigation check. This check closer.
Investigation. Oh boy, am I good at that? I am good at that. Let's use pink die. 14.
14. Easy enough. So looking ahead, the first 2 are pikes with rotten corpses mounted on them. They've been impaled from the bottom of their torso up and through their throat and out their mouth. Their heads kind of like pointed upward with the pike coming out through its jaws.
Mm-hmm.
And these same pikes line the path all the way up further into the mountain.
Do all of the pikes have bodies on them?
Yes.
Okay.
I suppose it wouldn't smell very good, would it?
I don't think so. Do the bodies, are they human? Are they humanoid?
They are a mixture of a variety of common races: humanoid, human, elf, dwarf, a couple of your least common ones, like very scattered throughout.
Okay. Mm.
I'm
Is
checking
it
on
just
Shadow's
me?
wounds.
Is it just me, or does this seem vaguely ominous? Okay.
Vaguely?
The bleak landscape, or the heads on the pikes?
Not just heads, bodies, entire bodies have been impaled.
Mm.
Like whole bodies are a little bit more than ominous. They're
Very ominous.
There's only one reason you put bodies on pikes.
Advanced
Warnings.
Warnings. But we'd need to go this way, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, we
we
need to
do.
get to the mountain.
I'm gonna cast Mage Armor on myself.
in which
Shadow, how are you doing?
I am hurting kind of bad. If I'm gonna be completely honest.
Yeah, you
Shadow's
took a
gonna
bad
take the hammer.
slash.
Yeah, Shadow's gonna take the hammer and use a hammer on himself. That's I think
Before you do that, at
bonk.
this point, it is a time of which you could take a long rest if you wanted to.
Should we take a
We
long rest
could.
next to all the pikes?
Oh, it's been
Oh.
hours now.
The spikes? Honestly, if you
Um,
think about it, it could kind of be a cool setup. Who else
I
is
mean-
gonna hang around pikes? No one.
I mean, these guys.
Bad guys.
I point to the
Here's a thought.
things
We could find a camping spot within sight of the spikes. Pitch the dome, and from the dome it's opaque from the outside, right? So they'd see maybe a formless black or gray thing. They wouldn't be able to cross that boundary, but we could at least scout out who comes in and out of that area, get a sense of who they are. Then we'd know a little bit more when we approach.
I wouldn't be opposed. Find a
Just a
find a
vantage
good
point.
area. Yeah, find a good area, and I'll start setting up.
Yeah.
All right, it's easy enough to find with your investigation, passive investigation. You can see that there are a variety of divots in this bouldered landscape where you could make a gray hut, and it would kind of blend in roughly with the boulders around it.
Okay. Before I cast the hut, I can send a message to people if we need to. I can send 6 messages.
What about Lumiscon? You could check on him.
That's true.
Check on him.
It's a very big brain thought process. Wow.
Well, what do we want to check? We want to see if he's still alive. Has he been moved? Does he know where he is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how long it's been.
And how long it's been.
Have I gotten the heads off that thing yet? The angry?
Yeah.
All right, so I've got them stored. How heavy are they?
They weigh about 40 pounds. It's two human-sized heads.
They're
Oh.
gonna be so cool once they decompose in the bag,
Are you gonna?
and then you pull it out.
Ju-
It's gonna look great.
Mr. Cleric, can you preserve bodies?
Ooh.
It's not a profession of mine, but I can.
Like with magic?
I can't repose bodies. No, it's not a thing that I picked up.
Oh, okay. Just curious.
Would that be useful later
those
on?
might be able to.
It's something I might be able to look into.
Okay, I got my message. It's 24 words.
What is that?
Actually, I'll make it 25.
And who are you sending it to?
Loomis.
The Miscon.
Okay.
Yeah, my message. Lumiscon, how are you? Have you been moved? Do you know where you are? How long has it been since I last messaged you? Ember.
Love Ember.
A few
No love.
moments
Ember.
pass. It's been 5 days since I was taken. I hear screams of pain and torture. They brought me to the asylum.
Okay. I'll relay that to the party. He is in the asylum. He can hear people being tortured, much like you were about 8 hours ago. And just look at Hughes Eskew. We should hurry back. It's only been a couple of days. We haven't been here too long.
Still alive, and they haven't done anything to him yet, I suppose.
Doesn't sound like it, but he can hear the torture, so maybe.
Sounds awful. But
Generally-
only 5 days, that's encouraging. That means we're not talking about a span of years or anything like that. Just a short amount of time. Good.
So,
Hope for us yet.
yeah, sooner we get there, the better.
Is there anyone
Well,
else
that's-
we need to contact?
Maybe the Archmage.
What
Maybe
should
Gari too.
You have Bull and Frill, you have the
After the
Archmage, you
Archmage.
have...
Would our sorcerer friend have any ideas of how this essence of Eldritch could be used against him?
Actually, in regards to that, I was wondering, can we reach him in 7 days or less? By chance? Eldritch?
Hopefully,
Hmm.
Mm.
Maybe.
but I
we
feel
can,
like
I
the
can
trip
try
to
to-
Restoria from the bog would probably take a while. Wouldn't it?
I mean,
Teleportation.
teleport back to
Yeah.
the shop and it'd be faster.
How fast could we get there? Because if we could get there within a week, I could contact my deity for information.
Also, what's the sorcerer's name that we met in the tower? That's pretty close to Restoria. No, it wasn't. That was
Elvira
close to
Creek.
Cataran. Elvira was close to Cataran. Never mind. But
I think the thought of a contact in the Archmage is a good one, especially if we were to just mention where we are. We're in the Shadowfell. Further, we do have, yes, we've got Grimbor's essence, and I wonder if there's anything else that we should think about getting here while we're
Oh,
here.
you're
Anything
gonna
else
know
might be
about
useful.
that.
We probably shouldn't tell the Archmage.
Yeah, let's not do that. I kind of actively pushed against telling him about Eldritch, since
Alright.
he's so close to him. You know,
mhm.
not
Who can we
close
trust?
in that sense.
I do want to contact Elviron. Specifically, he's looking for the staff that is a seems like a magnet for the dragons. If they're looking for powerful artifacts, we have one in our store. I would like to contact Elviron and see if he can locate it and go pick it up and take it, because he is looking for it.
Okay.
So maybe we should contact him. What do you think?
I think it's a grand idea.
Yeah.
Certainly a good use of yours. There are many uses of that spell.
And if you're gonna let him take it, you should probably let somebody at your store know that he has permission.
Yes, that would be another one. Who do we have? Who's our point of contact at the store currently?
Who is that
You left-
nice lady that was?
Eula?
You left Eula in charge of the store while your dragon-born friend is gone.
Right. Okay. I'll do Elviron first. Elviron, it's Ember. The staff you're looking for, you could find it at the Flint and Steel in Cataran. Tell Eula your name, and she'll get it for you.
Alfred, I seem to have forgotten or lost my slippers. Staff, you say? Good news. I shall make my way there post haste next day.
Tomorrow.
Okay, and then
It's already bedtime.
I'll message Eula. Eula, there's a man named Elviron who will be coming looking for the staff kept in the vault. Please give it to him.
His name.
I said his name was Elviron.
Oh.
Oh, all right. Store's busy. Refugees coming. Received word of dragon territories. I'm sorry, what was your order? That was all you hear.
Nice.
Dragon.
3 uses left. Elith, you said you wanted to check on Gari.
If we have uses available, yeah.
3 uses.
Mm-hmm.
What would you like me to ask Gari?
How his classes are, how he's doing.
If he's eating enough.
Yes. I'm trying to think about.
How are
Has the
rumors going?
freshman 15 hit yet?
Maybe what are people talking about? If you can fit that in. I don't know if he's gonna pay attention to that. He's such a good learner.
Tell him his mother loves him.
Very true. I do be loving him.
Yeah. I'll do Gari.
Okay.
Gari, your mother sends her love. She would like to know how you are doing. How are classes? How's the school? That's all I'm gonna ask.
There's so many books. I'm tired. Hi. I gotta get back to reading.
Well, he's definitely studying.
By
Yeah,
the time that we get back, he can be a more powerful wizard than you, Ember.
it's very, very possible.
Yeah.
Let's hope we're not gone that long.
You know, personally, I learned a lot through my experience, and now I'm wondering. I don't know. He'll be fine. He'll be okay. He does not need to be experiencing the adventure yet. You're right.
Do you think you'd bring him with you when he's old enough and ready enough to follow you? Do you see yourself traveling with him?
That's a good question.
You adopted him, right?
Yeah. I imagine that I would take him with me. Especially when he's confident in his abilities. But until he is, I don't want to put him in a situation where he can't defend himself.
I imagine that's something that he gets good at when he's just exposed to it, right? I mean, he'll be bad at it for a while. We all were.
It only takes
Phrasing.
one chance to lose all your other chances, you know?
That's true.
Especially in action, a mistake will,
Yeah.
yeah.
Gods know I wouldn't want to put a kid in a place like this.
And he's still a baby. He's only 58. He's tiny.
Is that right?
I would.
How old are you, if I may ask?
Oh, 25.
Make sure you write that down.
Write that down. Write that down.
Write that down.
I would.
I wanted to say I'm
Good.
I'm very touched, everyone, by just by the loyalty you show. We all came down here ostensibly for Shadow, and but then beyond that, I mean, you all got caught up in something that's been very much part of my journey so far, but not a single one of you turned around and asked me anything about it. It's just been a straight acceptance, and I have to say it's very touching to me. But I also think I owe you explanations.
I think we just, realized everybody's, got stuff they have to deal with, and, as a group, we have to take care of that. But if you do want to explain.
I'm all ears.
I feel like I owe you at least my life, possibly also your eye. So
That's fair.
I need no explanation.
Well, I started off in a very small village. Humans and elves, for the most part. But unfortunately, it was more or less in the Baron's way. And he had a thing about humans and elves getting together. Anyway, at some point or another, he went in for one of his rides through town. At this point, he'd been taxing the place off to death. He got to the point where the village didn't really have much more to give him, so he started taking it out on families. Mine. Mother and father were happy people, good people, but not fighters. They didn't last long. And I tried to put up a fight, but, he has a thing about making examples of people. This was one of them, and I'll show off the cut off tips of my ears. Anyway, he threw me in a dungeon for a very long time. And for a very long time, as a boy, my only friend was my shadow. It's the only one I could talk to. And after a little while, it started talking back. So, anyway.
Did you know it had wings?
No, that was new. Honestly, I didn't really know if any of it was real, to be honest. I thought maybe I'd gone a little mad. I think part of me did. Another part of me just thought it was just, I don't know, the one good thing in my life.
He can talk. Seems he doesn't like to, but he can.
Has its way. It mostly listens.
Last week?
It did.
Yeah.
And I got out eventually, with a number of other thieves, criminals, that sort of thing. I fell in with a bad lot for a little while, and Shadow, it guided me a little. It kept me going. I joined up with a pirate crew for a while, a few bandit crews, and I realized that I could actually do a lot more good on my own on the road. So I've been harassing the Baron for a bit. That's what I've been up to for the last little while, because you see, I'm a killer, and I intend to kill him when I come back. You see, now that I know where he is. that's what I mean to do when I return, and I know that's not exactly lawful, and I know that it may get some of you into trouble, and I want you to know now that that's my intention, because if you don't want to get roped in on anything like that, then I advise you stay away from me for a bit.
I think trouble's all we run into for the
And I
past
mean,
long while.
we're already on the run to help one friend. What's going on the run to help another?
Yeah.
I was gonna say I think we're already in it this deep. I mean, I think if we were to be scared off, we would have been scared
We all know
off.
too much.
Yeah, you know. But I can't imagine like my ears being I like my ears. Really sorry, Jack.
As well you should. Do you know, I think I stopped feeling sad about it after a few years ago. I don't know, it's who I am now. But I am angry.
I angry. I'm Ember. I think that guy over there is also called Angry.
Yeah,
He's
he
dead,
was. He
actually.
was angry.
He's dead. Yeah.
One
I
last
would,
thing, I suppose, is thy name is John.
It's what?
I was born John or Darian. And at some point in the few years that I was active on the road, attacking some of the Baron's tax carts and giving the gold back to the people, they started calling me Jack. And then it's sort of stuck.
Do you suppose your first name wouldn't be Midnight, so that makes sense?
You weren't kidding about building an image for yourself.
After a while, it sort of started working for me. Anyway, that's the story.
I would thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah.
I would like to advise against feeling those emotions of anger too much here in this place. Lest you become
Something sort of like that thing that we just, yeah, I take your point.
Oh,
We'll
speaking
be
of
out here
which,
fast though.
you guys, do you think that we could find one of those little monsters, like halfway through transition? Does that make sense? Or do they because it takes time, wouldn't it?
Maybe we could, but personally, I think we need to get
Oh.
out of here as fast as possible.
I'm not saying go out of our way. I'm just saying
Yeah.
that I wonder if we'll come across one. That would
I'd
be
be
very
wary about bringing home any pets.
What it sounds like the people
It could
before
be
they turn
very
into those things.
Also, no, never mind. If we were to be one of
point
them, which would we
information,
be?
has the bubble been summoned yet?
no.
Okay.
Yet.
Okay.
I have one last message that I do want to send before we pop the bubble.
Okay.
But we had a conversation, so I was waiting.
Oh, yeah.
I
I can't think of anyone to reach who.
I would like to ask the Archmage if he has.
What's Sarah?
Where is Sarah?
I have two people that I would like to contact. I'm going to do the Archmage first. Archmage, it's Emperor. I'm currently in the Shadowfell. Should be on my way back to the Prime soon. Is there anything here that you would recommend doing?
I recommend that you do not give in to the despair of the Shadowfell. Focus your minds.
He told me the same thing I just told you. Oh, wonderful. Last one is going to be to Sarah. Sarah,
Hmm?
where are you? Do you know where you are? Can we come get you? We want to leave the Shadowfell, but we don't want to leave you behind.
That one does not succeed.
No answer. I got fucking ghosted.
What does that mean?
Oh,
F.
There is a. I've been rolling for all of these, and there's a 5% chance that if you're on a different plane, it does not succeed.
Oh wow.
And we just happened to get the 5% chance.
You
Okay.
Yeah.
really did
That's
though.
insane.
I know.
Aw.
I'm just poking fun.
5% chance to get ghosted.
It's a higher rate these days.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna sit down and start up the hut.
Are we doing watches?
Yeah, we should.
yeah.
We want to keep an
Shadow's
eye
gonna
on
take last watch.
come-ins and go-ins.
Shada's taking last watch.
I will take last watch with Shada.
I'll take first watch.
I'll take first.
Yeah, I'll take first.
Before the rest begins, I'd like to cast divination,
Okay.
and I'm going to ask, right? 1 moment, just to make sure that I'm doing this correctly.
You only can do it
Levi.
once every 24 hours if you fail. Wait, if this is the right thing I'm thinking of.
It didn't mention anything about that, but it does say if I use it 2 or more times before finishing a long rest, there's a 25% chance I get a random reading.
Oh,
That
okay.
would be
I think you're. I think you might. I might be thinking of divine intervention or whatever that's called.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It's a
Fine.
higher level thing.
yeah. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
So, I ask a single question. So, my question I'm going to ask, I suppose any god about it. If we give, what was his name? That vampire
Veldritch,
person?
Veldritch.
Veldritch
Veldritch.
Grimbor.
If we were to give Veldritch Grimbor his mortality, would that be a good thing or a bad thing? Would that be harmful or beneficial?
Okay. There's a. Is there a roll on that, or just you just get the answer?
Is that divine favor? Divine.
It's
Divination.
divination.
It's when you ask your
It's
god a
really
question and they give
4th or
you.
5th level spell.
Here, I'll post the rules of it here. It says it's a truthful reply, no checks or anything, but it can be phrased weird in a cryptic rhyme. Or something.
Cryptic, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm good at cryptic.
There you go.
So, as you kind of ask this, you look up, and you notice a collection of clouds, that cover up the moon for a few moments, and just as they're like kind of floating across the sky, they just kind of stop for longer than they should have with the speed that they were going. It kind of like blackens out the landscape, and then they continue on.
All right.
Who turned out the lights?
And that's the message.
Mm.
That was that.
Interpret
I think
that
my
how
spell.
you will.
I think my spell's defective.
Well, out of character, this is how I would think about it. Your goddess is the moon, right?
Mhm.
And the moon just went away for a very long time, didn't it?
So that would be a bad thing then.
That's how I would interpret it.
Right. Can he survive the sun, I wonder? Has he ever been in direct sunlight?
He usually carries around a parasol.
Yeah, he was wearing covering clothing when Jack and I saw him in the city.
Do you think he'd ever strive to maybe remove all the sunlight from this world?
Yeah, that's. I mean, if he's doing that, that would imply that he's trying to avoid sunlight.
I feel like that vampire storyline has been done somewhere before and then been re-released like 4 times. So like,
Catch him on a sunny day.
DM's like, nah, that's too cringe. We're not doing that story.
It's like, that's so overrated.
Come on.
The sun.
That cliche, we could do better than that.
Look, you probably just want to, if he does happen to carry your weakness to that, you probably just want to get rid of his own weakness.
Tell you what would help. If that sound blade of yours, like Elf's saying.
That it would.
You've got
Sun
all
blade
of
for a reason.
you've got all of the powerful blades, the Sun Blade, the Dragon Slayer blades, all the blades that we need.
That is exactly 2.
So-
yes.
Well, we need a third one. We need to go make that for Jack.
Yeah.
Deathblade.
Well,
Whatever. that
Uzescu's going to kind of turn to the rest of the party. He's going to kind of relay what happened.
means.
who's taking the second watch?
So nobody's on second watch yet?
No, I have
Not yet.
Alice and Jack for the first watch, Shada and Ember for the last watch.
I'll take second watch.
Zark,
I will as well.
Cohen. All right, and as this information is relayed to all of you, the bubble kind of springs into existence.
For those of you who like to take watch outside of the bubble, I would suggest you don't do that here.
Heard.
Acknowledged.
Right.
I will not make that mistake this time.
That's why we picked this spot. It's a good vantage point. Gives us a view of whatever's down there. See if anyone goes in and out.
Alice and Jack. Either
Okay.
one of you can make a perception check with advantage, or each of you can make one individually.
This could make one with advantage.
All right, I'll do it. Okay. All right, so I'll kind of sit down and turn my good eye over. Oh, 23.
23. All right.
Mhm.
As everyone kind of begins to drift off to sleep, you and Alice kind of scan the landscape, and you're a few hundred feet off the path, but you're kind of looking, and through the dim light of the moon, you notice a collection of bodies kind of in unison in blocks going up the path. And as it goes up the path and turns to the fork that goes towards the mountain, you notice that they are regiments marching. There are 3 groups. Each row has 10, and there are 5. Oh, I said that wrong. There are 5 in each row and 10 columns. And there are I said 5 groups. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. Are they dressed in like black spiky leathers?
All right, and you kind of look closer, and some of them are wearing armor, some of them are wearing tattered clothes, and like, you know, so they're all made up of undead, kind of marching in unison.
Yep. Okay.
That's a lot of
Oh,
that's a lot of bodies.
Yeah.
that's a whole
To be
company.
honest.
I feel like we just met somebody who can deal
Unsettling.
with those.
Wait a second. They must have come from outside of 40,000 feet, unless they look particularly scorched.
I mean, we were in the mine when that happened, right?
And
Yeah.
they
Don't look
only-
close to I don't know.
they only-
40,000 feet is roughly 8 miles.
Pretty far.
Yeah.
That's
I think we've
40,000
traveled more.
square feet.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So 40,000 squared is what? 2,000?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like half a mile each
Over
direction.
200. Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Someone would be very upset with me that I don't know.
Wait. 20.
Swear word.
Oh dear.
4 feet.
It'd be 200.
Plus
200, yeah. Oh.
30.
Oh.
No, it'd be 40,000. It'd be 40,000 wide, 40,000 long. That's square feet. So 8 miles in any direction. Sort of thing.
Well, it's not that far.
Is that right?
200 by 200 square is 40,000 squared feet.
Yeah.
That's there we go. So 200
Alright.
feet was about the direction of like this loose area, this chasm, but
Okay. Oh, cool. All right. So right. Is there any noticeable command structure, or are they just marching in like organized legions, right?
Yeah.
Do we see anything do we see any lieutenants, any captains, any leaders?
make an investigation check to see if you can discern if there's any officers among this army.
Okay. 20. No, 22.
22. So you're kind of looking, and you notice that in the front, middle, and back, on one on each side, there are tattered banners being held. The symbol of which is 3 skulls with a sword going down the middle one. Kind of a black banner with this like silver thread that's kind of like glowing in the light. You do see riding on a horse with a mane and tail made of fire. There is a skulled creature, 3 heads mounted on its shoulders, wielding a staff, and you know this armor, and like it kind of goes up onto the hill, trots from it, and observes its forces being moved forward towards the mountain, and it kind of tilts the staff forward and opens up its jaws and lets out a screech, and you and Elf kind of like cover your ears and like as it hurts, and then continue to march, and as they get closer to the mountain you hear a horn.
I've seen these things in a dream. This is what I saw in my dream. But in the dream they were in Ceravel.
Not quite the same.
Is that right?
Not
Yeah,
quite the
no?
same.
Oh.
It's similar. You've seen something similar to this.
Okay.
Still, that's enough to convince me.
Okay, guys, so here's the plan. If you guys can buy me in just 20 minutes.
Does
You're sleeping,
the horn?
sir.
Does the
I know,
horn
I'm
wake us
joking.
up?
I'm joking.
I would
Does
say
it
that you
screech or
all
the
wake
horn?
up at the screech.
Oh,
Order attack.
Oh. No. We're
What's going on?
none of them have seen us yet. It's a horde. It's a horde, but they haven't seen us.
mm-hmm.
Let's not make any sounds and just stay low.
I'm going back to sleep.
They're passing. No fire. Not right now. We don't know what
Yeah,
they
they
would
don't
bring on
even
us.
know we're here.
Yeah, go back to sleep. You need the rest.
Couldn't even see into the bubble if I did. But yeah, I'll go back to sleep.
I'll tap Alf on the shoulder though.
Wait,
Hey,
do we
you-
What?
Are you alright?
Oh, yes. Why?
You and Sarah were close. It's just everything's happened so quickly.
He's not gone. Yeah, I mean, you're talking about him like he's dead or something.
No,
You know?
well, I mean, we don't know. We know he's right. That's true. He's gone, but he's safe, right? That's what we've been led to
yeah.
understand.
Yeah, I don't know. I trust Zara. I think he can be self-sufficient enough to be okay for a certain amount of time. So, for now, we're just gonna let it settle. I am definitely worried, but thinking a lot about your patron, honestly. It was kind of jarring.
What do you mean?
I mean, we've met, you know, several different patrons, matrons, but they're all just very different, and it adds a lot of perspective for me.
Powerful friends. Yeah.
You know what's crazy? Is that I think the only patron that actually cared was Renestray. And
Why did you leave her?
because she lied to me. She deceived me. She promised me something that she couldn't deliver on. I guess I didn't read the fine print, but I became very disillusioned.
That sounds to me that if she did care, then if anything, it was just one more shackle. If the price was so great that it was weighing on you, toxic presence.
I just wonder. I haven't heard from my patron in a while.
Do they care?
No.
Do you want to talk about it?
I don't know what to talk about.
You could start with who or what they are.
You can't tell anyone, the rest of the group yet.
Okay. Only if you're comfortable talking about it.
Do you know Orcus?
I think so. Do I know Orcus?
Make a history check.
Undead. Dark thing. Right. It's a 10.
No. You have no clue.
Can I
Bad
brief
news.
him a little?
What?
Can I brief him a little?
You can tell him what you know. Yeah, I mean, that's like, you can do that.
And
Yeah,
do that.
I'm afraid I don't know
You can
much about
share
this
knowledge
person.
that you already possess.
the Undying. I do know that. Yeah. From what I know, he seeks ultimate rot and death and decay of all dimensions. And he wants
Is
to
that
be
what
the
you
sole
want?
ruler. I don't think so.
What did he have to offer you?
A lot of power.
How does that power feel?
It feels good. It feels good.
Is there a
I
price?
can fight with my friends, with my family. And I can do what I never could do, you know? I used to work with the Fiend way back in the day. You know. I just didn't, you know. Of course I was, you know, a beginner, but I did not feel as powerful. And that's why I'm very stuck. I know my
What do you mean
patron is very
stuck?
powerful. Very, very, very
Are you?
powerful.
Is there a price that you're paying?
There will be.
Elith, do you
I-
need help?
Not immediately. But when I do, I'll let you know. my problems are going to start when I have to head up north to get my artifact. So,
All right.
once we
I'll be
reach
there.
that point. Yeah.
I don't.
think your
I won't
patience-
pretend to know much. Well, I won't pretend to know much about these things, but it strikes me that you can get power in a lot of places. And if you don't like the source of the power that you have now, then you could also I suppose change your mind. You've done it once before,
Twice. Thrice.
twice before.
Uh,
Well,
about twice.
so much of this is new to me. Having someone out there who's actually been watching out, this is very new. And so in some way, I'm actually very glad you and Shada are here, because you've both had some experience with this now.
Yeah. I mean,
Oh.
how does it make you feel? Do you feel like, do you feel comfortable, or do you feel like
Gods, I don't know.
with them watching you?
Probably more uncomfortable, but I don't know. They were so distant, so removed, so impassive. It was sort of like not being watched by a person at all. More like being part of something.
Yeah, it's definitely not
Something
a person.
balancing. And I think that felt pretty good.
Yeah, it
It
does.
might feel pretty good for you too, I suppose.
We'll see.
Anyway, have some pocket bacon.
Somewhat?
Have some pocket bacon. I'll share a ration.
Pocket bacon. Is this a new thing? Like a...
No, it's
I know about
no. This is dried meat. This is like I don't know if any of us have eaten yet, but
No.
I'm gonna snack on it.
Well, I did have that, really disgusting piece of
The flesh that you
abomination.
ate?
So, yeah, that was not great. I think this pocket bacon will be much better. So,
It's much drier and less fatty than the flesh that you ate, but after chewing on it for a little bit and just sitting there, the Legion does disappear behind the mountains, and soon enough it's time to wake up the next watch.
Okay. I'll go shake Zark awake. Wakey.
quick
That
thing.
time already?
Yeah.
I don't know when it's gonna interject.
I'm also taking
when
second
Jack
watch.
goes to sleep. So whenever Jack goes to sleep, I'm gonna take an action.
Okay.
Sorry, Jack.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
Zark and
Interesting.
Kellen, you may either each separately roll perception, or one of you roll it with advantage. And Aleph, what are you gonna do?
I'll
I'm
give
gonna
Zark
go up
assistance.
to Jack, and I'm gonna cast Dream,
Oh shit.
and I'm just gonna give him
22.
a really pleasant dream about his family and his home life.
Did it work? Yeah, I think so. Double check here.
Pretty please.
Okay. Are you gonna get that application done tonight, you think? I was gonna call Ed as soon as I sent
Okay.
Okay. So
Super
Jack,
sweet.
as you fall asleep, soon through the darkness appears Ellis' form. Your vision swirls as the landscape is shaped around you, and Ellis' form turns into your mother, and you are waking up in the morning in your cottage home. enjoying freshly baked goods and breakfast prepared by your mother in the home that you used to have. And what did you get for your perception check there, Zark?
22.
22. Zark, as you scan the landscape, seeking danger or potential danger that may threaten your friends and comrades, that is where we're going to take our mid-session break.
Oh. All right.
Oh boy.
All right, everyone. So we will see everyone momentarily as we're going to go and refresh ourselves during this break. Jack.
Oh, hey. Oh, what do I got? I wanted to let everyone know that we're on YouTube. If you're watching us on Twitch, hey, check out our YouTube channel. We're just Prestige Encounters. And if you didn't know, we're also a podcast. And if you're listening to us on YouTube or like any of the places where you'll find podcasts, it's great to be with you right now. I hope you're doing those dishes like really hard or like driving around or whatever it is you're doing. It's lovely to be with you. Thanks for coming with us. And be sure to like and subscribe.
All you Europeans.
Yeah, oh my god. They love us in Europe. We're so hot there.
All right.
We're like the Beatles.
Yeah.
So everyone,
the
we
reverse
will
Beatles.
see you soon. We're just gonna go ahead and take a short break. I hope you're enjoying the
Welcome
session.
back.
Welcome. Never mind, the moment's ruined. So where we last left off, we were going into the second watch. Kelvin and Zarg were scanning the area, and what you notice at this moment in time is a whole lot of nothing. What would you like to do?
Well, I guess I just keep watching.
Okay.
Keep looking. Kelvin seems a bit out of it right now. He's obviously not paying any attention.
I think Kelvin's invisible, guys.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
He's a ghost.
When did he learn invisibility?
It is Spooktober.
Which
It is
oddly
spooky
enough,
season.
the Shadowfell portion of the campaign kind of lined up with October, so I'm really
That's
happy
great.
about that.
It is exciting.
Yeah. So, Zark, you do notice that there are, figures moving out in the shadows. You guys are not alone in this landscape. Every now and then, like through the mist, you notice a few dark-looking beings, and just overall get a sense of like creepiness, and you kind of like feel a chill down your spine. Dark roast beans, Ember.
Speaking of which, you can get 10% off.
10% off.
Sick.
Anyway, so you
boy.
kind of like you look up because you hear this like clicking sound. There's like some sort of humanoid crawling on all fours across the dome. It kind of like continues over the boulder and keeps moving.
I don't like that. Sure is quiet. Sure is kind of quiet out here, isn't it, Kelvin? It
I could
seems,
just
I say to
imagine.
myself.
Calvin's working on an eyeball right now. I could see it. He's in there.
I kind of snap, and I'm like, "Hey, Kelvin, you good there?"
Yeah, sorry.
Kind of zoned out there for a minute there, bud.
I did. I don't normally do that. That was weird. What's happening? What's going on? I'm good.
Nothing much, just the odd creature here and there walking by. Nothing.
Yeah. I'll be happy the sooner we can get out of this place.
Same.
The whole adventure is not what I expected, though.
So Maya. Here you go, Mistra.
Hey.
All right. Yeah. Continue on, guys. Go, man.
Okay. Yeah, I would have never imagined ever being in the world of being on other planes of existence, the world of the Fae and the shadows, and being in hell for a little bit.
Just a dip into hell. It wasn't that bad. 20-minute.
Well,
20-minute adventure, in and out.
this new guy has the weirdest sleep talking.
Yeah, it's always like he his sleep talking pertains to whatever conversation you're having. It's so weird.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm right there with you. Like, if you would have asked me a few years ago where I saw myself, it definitely wasn't
Hell.
It
Yeah.
it definitely wasn't hell. Well,
Yeah.
nah, I haven't been that bad. So,
Yeah. I mean, I don't regret the choices I've made to get here. Like, we're doing these things to help these guys, and they seem like pretty good guys and gals. But I just never had to worry about decisions this big. It used to just be shipment orders of toys and farming equipment and things like that, you know? And then I started getting into making this cool armor, and all of a sudden I'm fighting giants and ghosts and demons and crazy.
I mean, yeah, I was just a lowly little town guard in a dirt poor town that everybody knew everybody, and now it seems like we're tasked with saving the world once again.
And making all these crazy moral choices. Like, I mean, my dad raised me to be like a good guy, but I don't know. We've had a lot of morally gray stuff, it feels like. But I don't know.
It's unfortunate in times of war that it turns out that way.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I just have this look of shock on my face, and I had a realization. I go, oh,
Did you forget to turn off the stove?
No, I never wrote back home that I was back. Oh my god. I never got a chance to. We had to get out of town so fast that I wanted to stop by and write a letter or something before we left, but we left in such a hurry I didn't get a chance to.
You could probably ask the professor to send a message for you and get there faster than a letter would anyway.
That is true. So, yeah, I might do that. I'll probably do that tomorrow if we have the chance.
Yeah. Pretty crazy stuff. And then, but I've had this idea for like, you know, these different things. And Kelvin like pulls out a notebook and like all this stuff, and he just starts talking about like all these ideas he has for making things, and like Ellis really likes to use Eldritch Blast, which is an awesome spell. And I was like thinking about this and this thing, and Jack, you know, I'm making this eye for him, and like it just keeps going. Unless you stop him.
No.
And soon enough, it is time to wake up Ember and Shada for their watch.
Apparently, I'm not the one that's going to stop it.
I would just like to formally apologize to Kelwin for making him hold that head open earlier. I do forget sometimes that we are not the same. So.
We built different.
Hey, Shada.
Yeah. What?
You need me to, before I go to, or I guess I don't have to do it right now, but do you need me to top off the healing charges on that hammer?
No, we did use a couple. Here.
Okay. We'll have this good to go again by morning.
All right. Thanks.
And if you think of any other spells, like if it's useful to you to have the healing, that's great. I can put other stuff on it, like disguise self, invisibility, levitate.
Yeah, disguise self might be important eventually. I'm not
Yeah.
I'm a pretty unique looking guy.
Yeah. And these are first and second level spells I can put into this, by the way. I think a little while ago when you were using a healing spell, you thought it was a third level spell, and I should have said something, but I don't know, somewhere else, I guess.
All right. Appreciate it. I'll let you know if I have any thoughts.
Okay.
Yeah, Shadow's gonna pick himself up and stand at the end of the bubble for the watch.
All right. Ember and Shada, you decided how you want to do the perception check amongst yourselves.
You can have advantage.
All right. That sounds cool.
And Shada and Ember, I need you both to make wisdom saving throws, please.
What the fuck?
Okay.
First, there's my perception. It's 22, and my wisdom saving throw, which is a 10. That is not a 22. That's a 10.
It's not
I got
that good.
6.
All right. Ember, only you.
Okay.
So, you begin to be overwhelmed with a sense of apathy. You begin to have these thoughts inside your head that you don't believe that you can make a difference to anyone or anything. You feel these strong emotions begin to really affect your just your overall way of thinking. And until further notice, you have disadvantage on your death saving throws and on your dexterity checks for initiative.
Okay. Disadvantage on initiative and death saves. Got it.
And you have the flaw. You do not believe that you can make a difference to anyone or anything at this moment in time. Shada, you just saved, by the way.
Okay. If not, I would have used Indomitable to try to save anyway.
Proceed with your watch. She's kind of looking around the area. I'll let you know if you see anything.
Yeah, I got a 22, so.
What do you think about what Jack told us earlier?
Some crazy shit he's gone through.
Do you think it's right to kill the Baron, though?
I'm gonna be completely honest that, yeah, totally do.
I'm gonna do something that I don't normally do. I'm just gonna sit and pray to Mistra for guidance.
Sure, let me get her for you.
What's that?
So sure, let me get her for you.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm just gonna pray to Mistra for guidance. Regarding the ambitions of the party, like the individual ambitions of the party, and my thoughts on the law and morality. Just see what See if I get any kind of epiphany.
Make a religion check.
Which, okay. You betrayed me. If I had a dice jail, you'd be in it. 17. Oh, 19. 19.
19? Okay.
Yeah.
So, magic as a system overall is very strict. Structure is needed for structure and rules are needed to have order in the world. But you continue to think about like that's not always the case in every situation. Free will and the ability of choice makes that black and white a whole lot of gray, much like the Shadowfell around you, which kind of, inspire these thoughts. Like, it's not just black and white, there's 50 shades of gray.
Right.
But overall, sometimes to do things for the greater good, rules are meant to be bent or even broken a little.
Interesting. I lived my life a certain way for the entirety of my life.
Certainly seemed like that kind of guy.
And the short time that I've spent with you all has opened my eyes to a lot. What do you think you're going to do about Veldritch? What's the plan?
If I gain freedom to do as I wish, even if it's not under it within his parameters, then I suppose he's not very good for anywhere, I think. I definitely, I do draw power from him at the moment, but I hold no, goodness in my heart for him.
Feel like you have, from the power that I've seen from you, much, much, much more of that comes from you than comes from him.
I tried. Once I got to a certain point, I tried not to get any further into it.
You mean to give him that amulet or something else?
I need to give him the amulet. It's part of our agreement.
Do you believe he's going to release you if you give him the amulet?
That's what I'm hoping for.
What do you think the chances of him honoring that arrangement would be?
I'm not completely sure that he'll follow through with it, but he did hold up his end of the deal. I am holding up mine.
I think you're a much larger threat to him than you are an asset. I think he needs to keep you under control for his own safety. Why else would he threaten your mother?
Well, it just seems he really, really wants this, amulet.
But if that amulet can be used to remove him.
And I assume once, or if my bond with him is broken, then try to use it. Be not immediately, because we do have larger problems at hand, which is the reason why we're doing this at this moment. But eventually.
He doesn't seem like a very good person, and if we are getting in the business of murdering bad people, he seems like someone who should be on the list. It's a very short list in my head at the moment. Very high profile people, very short list. Seems that locket might be the best way to get rid of him. Do you mind if I see it quickly?
Sure. Shadow's gonna hand it over.
I want to identify it.
Ember, as you grab a hold of the locket, this image of Veldritch's face flashes in your mind for just a brief moment. Eyes glowing bright red, full of anger and fury. The hair seems to be being whipped around by some unknown force, and fangs bared, ready to fight. But it just, it's just a brief flash, but yeah.
Okay. I want to sit down and cast Identify on it. See, I'm trying to get everything I can out of this. Yeah. There's another spell that I really want to pick up that I don't have yet, but I keep forgetting anytime we are places that I need to buy spells or whatever.
So, Identify doesn't give you the exact lore of an item. It gives you more so just like what it does.
Yeah.
This pendant contains the mortality of the individual known as Veldritch Grimbor. To the one who holds it, it has a minor beneficial effect and a minor and detrimental effect. I'm sorry, a minor and a major detrimental effect. The minor beneficial effect while holding it is that you get advantage on your death saving throws.
Right.
And this is while you're just holding it. The detrimental effects is that while it is in your possession, you are one, being watched or can be scryed upon rather easily. The second one is, I just lost my train of thought. I'll get back to you on that one. That's but the major one is the scrying. The minor one, shoot, what did I have for that? I'll let you know. Continue.
That's it.
So it has to do with the sun, perhaps? I don't know.
Oh, you are blinded while in bright light. Not blinded, but your vision is at disadvantage. Anything that requires visual perception is a disadvantage, much like a drow would be, a drow character. So attack rolls, that sort of thing.
So Shada hasn't experienced any of this within the time of him using his bright light sword?
Nope.
All right.
Interesting. I'll tell Shada everything that I learned about it. And I'll give it back. And
Shit. Maybe we shouldn't talk too much about it then.
Yeah. quite a pickle we're in.
One will be out of soon, I hope.
I don't trust that. I'm gonna think about it some more.
I can only hope. And afterwards, I talk to my god.
Was that said to me?
No, just
Okay.
generally, like, Shadow will state that.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, I mean, since... Yep, Shadow might as well try to pray then, yeah. He's gonna take out his Forge's supply, Smith's tools, and pray with them.
Make a religion check.
Alright. Roll the 14.
I mean, you sit there and you do, utter your words of prayer over your smithing tools. It's more comforting than it is anything. But as soon as you wrap up your prayers, it is time to wake everybody up as the bubble gone. As everybody wakes up, I need all of you to make wisdom saving throws.
Ooh.
Me as well?
Not Ember.
Okay.
The reason why you and Shada did at the time that you did is because you were sleeping that entire time until the very end.
Okay.
Yeah, and I see one natural one. Holy wisdom, Hugh.
Yeah. Ton of wisdom here.
Is this a save or an ability check?
Save.
Save.
Okay. I got an 11.
Okay.
So did I.
I'll give you both a flash of wisdom, inspiration.
Ooh.
So
No way.
I don't.
What does that mean?
before you do that,
myself much good.
so before you do that,
Yeah.
Shada just saved with a 10.
11 will save.
Yeah. Okay.
So you don't need
Okay.
flashes of
Wait,
Save it.
Are you able to double flash?
Okay.
Kelvin, you're feeling
let me double check.
a lot less cheery than you did when
That's my reaction.
when you went to bed. You wake up with this overall sense of dread filling your mind. Until further notice, you now have disadvantage on all saving throws and you gain the following flaw. You are convinced that this place is going to kill you. You're unsure about this place. Like you said, you've never expected to be on a different plane of existence. You've been to the Feywilds, you've been to the Nine Hells, and now you've been to the little place that is the land of despair. And then you are believing very strongly that you will die here.
This is the second time this has happened to you on a plane.
Yeah.
If I may,
Tired of
Jack
other-
wakes up with a smile on his face because he's had a very good sleep, like a very good dream. And then he'll wake up, and as soon as he looks around the scenery, his face will fall, and he'll remember where they are and what's happened since then. But he'll look over, he'll see Eleth, and the look of confusion on his face for a moment, and then realization slowly dawning. I had a very good dream. And you were there, but can't imagine you had anything to do with that.
No, but I'm flattered.
Elif, make a perception check.
Gotcha. A 22, natural 20.
That's what I wanted. Elif, you feel a presence.
Oh no.
You turn around and about 50, 60 feet away, you see a lady dressed all in white, skin pale and eyes hollow. Her head is bent to the side with the bone sticking out from it. this silvery blood kind of like going down and dried. Hair that was once a powder blue, now matted and almost seems to be rotting. You recognize this to be in the form of Renestray Snowfallen. And as it reaches towards you, its mouth gaping as almost as if in a painful scream, mist blows across the way and the form along with it.
Oh my gosh, I am jarred.
Did anybody else see that, or was it
Elif
just her?
is just kind of like
Just Elf.
fall back in shock. She's like,
But y'all see that.
What?
Are you okay?
we gotta go. We gotta go.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
We gotta go.
I agree.
Are
Yep.
we?
Sooner we
are
should.
following that the army up the mountain.
Yes.
Did they go to the same
That-
mountain?
Sounds like a dangerous idea. Sounds like
Hey.
a really dangerous idea.
Hey,
Owen, it's our only way out. As far
hey,
as we know.
Hugh Zescu.
Yeah.
Can you prepare that spell any faster than you did last time?
You mean Forbidden's the one that can destroy hordes of monsters? That one?
Yeah, that one. Can you do that faster?
I can actually. It's gonna take a lot out of me though. I can only kind of like quickly cast it once. Each other time's going to be a bit of a ritual in which I'm gonna be spending a bit more time on it. But if you can give me 10 minutes, I can get it out right now.
You can use
we
it.
Alright.
don't, we don't
Not-
need it right now.
Not just yet.
Right.
Look, I think as a last resort, we might need it. But one thing, though, is that if anything survives that, then two things. One, it's a tough motherfucker. Two, it's coming straight for us.
3, it wouldn't be undead. Or
Well, it could be. Or
could be
it could just be tough enough to survive whatever you throw at it. In which case, now we're dealing with that.
I will say,
And
I cast mage armor.
right, basically. I will
Like,
say
right
that
now. As this conversation is happening, I
during
cast
this conversation. I will say though, it's the damage of that spell isn't just initial and then that's over. It's a constant. If it remains in the area, it will continue taking that damage over and over again until it leaves, or until it dies.
whoa. Whoa. Okay.
Yes, it is very powerful, and it can't teleport either. So if it's like near the center of it, near us, it's probably going to die.
So it
You know-
really would destroy them.
And it's not concentration. I don't need to concentrate on the spell.
When we get back to the prime material plane, I have well, if we have a year, I have something I need you to do.
Oof, I see.
I would counsel against making liberal use of such an incredibly devastating weapon until we know we absolutely need it. Because that is something that would come back on us somehow.
It's quite
If we were
possible.
too cavalier with it. But it's good to know that that's in our back pocket.
Let's take it out of the back pocket and put it in the sleeve.
Okay. I'm gonna pack up, get ready to go.
Yeah, at around this, while y'all were like talking about it, Ellis like scrambling her stuff together, grabbing her bag of holding and stuff. She's already like walking. She's like
Just
looking
walking?
behind her.
Oh shit,
Yeah,
she's
she's walking.
serious. She is
Yeah,
serious.
she's
grabbed her
serious.
phone and ran.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, we're catching up.
So, are you walking along the path?
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
Okay.
Hurriedly.
So, you guys are like coming up the path of which this army marched up through the night during the night. The footprint's still fresh, and you're coming up onto the first two pikes of the corpses.
Okay.
So we come across
Does it stink?
do it stink.
Oh yeah, and there's an overall stench there. And as you guys kind of like begin to walk past them. The eyes are shut and like his head open, but you guys, Zark, you notice as like the eyes snap open and it begins to like reach towards you, like go like as it can't quite reach you because the pike itself is like stopping it. But these are very much
They're all undead.
not dead, not alive. They're unalive-ish.
How many are there, DM?
Do they react to Elith because she's like kind of in the front because she's trying to get out of here?
It wasn't until Zark walked past it towards the middle that they really did react. But there's a pair on each side of the path every 50 feet for the next 1,000 plus feet.
Okay. So we'll have some company.
Yep.
Yeah, I wish one of them was with me right now. I'll cut his hand off. Yaga.
Yeah. Okay.
And DM, did you say that they were kind of different humanoid demographics?
Yeah.
All of them? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to try something real quick. And I'm going to cast Produce Flame on the one on the right.
Right.
Oh.
I want to see what happens.
Maybe they're part of some grand spell or something.
Does a 12 hit?
It does hit. The creature like begins to catch fire. You hear the sound of like sizzling and bubbling as the skin, whatever skin's left, begins to blister and pop with this like blackish red clotted blood as it like kind of bubbles out from the wounds. And as the creature like groans in the pain of the fire, it soon becomes still and its arm swings at its side.
Should we take care of these before we get to them? Before they start wiggling like these two did?
Someone said that they were humanoid, right? Did I catch that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All of them.
The one across from the one Ember just lit up. I'd like to cast Eldritch Blast at it thrice.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I just want to keep doing that over and over until it dies.
Okay.
So 21,
my gosh.
23,
Oof.
and 17.
Okay. The armor class is 8.
Okay. So we've got
I don't
a 9,
think we can miss. I don't think anybody can
a
miss.
6, and then a
Been missing the tribe.
11, and then I would also like
It dies.
to Oh, I was gonna shake it for effect, but I got you. So then I'd like to capture. Does it have a soul? I'm curious. I want to
Make
try
an
to capture.
intelligence check.
I want to try to capture whatever kind of soul it has. Intelligence. 20?
Undead or reanimated dead are nearly just husks of corpses that have been summoned to fit the needs of whoever uses them. Their souls are not within the body.
Well, it was still fun.
Not even a soul of the
Worth a
dark
try.
variety.
You know,
You want to destroy every one of these on the way there?
Not particularly.
I do.
There's a lot of them.
There's 20 sets as far as you can see so far.
So 40 of them should be cake.
Who's gonna chime in? Well, I don't want to be left out on any of the fun. I'm going to be whispering little words of radiance to all of them, I think. As many as I can.
Okay.
Punch 2 of them at a time.
Do you
Does this make
think?
a lot of noise?
Oh,
Right.
Well, them waking up and screaming at us as we pass do. So
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Shadow's gonna start casting Eldritch Blast at them.
Yeah. All right.
It is
cool.
just a gore party. Like, it is. You
Do you
all
think-
are like, go ahead, Ember.
do you think these are the bodies? As I'm just casting firebolts and stuff. Do you think these are the bodies of the souls that Huzescu released yesterday? Fireball.
Obviously not too concerned about it.
Yeah, probably.
I hope not. Whatever they are, I suppose it's better we kill them now than later, right? That was a big army that just came by.
Mhm.
So a horde of them.
I wonder why these were put
Now
here.
one of those legions. There's
I mean,
40 of
I like
them
to-
here.
Yeah.
Probably to scare people off. Send a message that whoever did it's not to be messed with.
Yeah, I'd like to recruit Zark, and between the two of us, keep an eye out for anyone watching us as we do this.
Mm-mm.
I'm really
we're
into the
moving up
violence,
the
but I want to
path.
make sure. Yeah, we're like moving up the path. I want to be like, is this like stirring up any attention? Like, are we being watched at all?
Go ahead and make perception checks.
Sure.
This is a warning. We're really just spitting in their face, aren't we?
Yeah, I got a 12, but I
I got a
faith in Zark.
21.
Nice.
So looking around, you do notice a few, shadows or ghosts nearby, but nothing seems to take interest in you.
Cool. I want to conjure barrage because I haven't got to use that in a while.
Okay.
Is that like an actual? Are you wasting an actual spell on this?
I don't ever use it, so
Okay.
Maybe.
oh
Oh
sure,
boy.
You do that.
I do that.
Soon
No,
enough, you guys come to the path where it begins to enter the mountains. And you begin to feel cold.
Like normal cold?
Like the kind of cold that hits your soul.
Ooh.
Oh, that's
That
different.
makes you shiver.
Guys, my soul is cold.
Yours? That's pretty crazy.
Give it a soul blanket.
Do you have one? Do you have another, like,
A
couple?
soul blanket or a couple of souls?
Well, a blanket for a soul.
I don't.
It's called religion.
I don't have a.
What does it take out of curiosity to get into your god's heaven? Um,
You're referring to me.
Mr. Yeah.
Rescue. Well, I guess serving under would be the most primary thing. I'm not very studious in terms of my god. My service to Our Lady in Silver is more means to an end rather than my passion.
Oh, okay. Do you think she would care if, like, somebody started doing that, like, right before they died, or? Because I mean, nobody knows when they're gonna die, really, right? But could be soon.
Somebody starts to serve her before they died.
Yeah. Do you have like a pamphlet or?
So with us in
Didn't
pamphlets.
take you for the religious type, Calvin.
I don't want to end up like these things.
Why don't you put your faith in the god of the forge? You're a blacksmith, right?
Well, yeah. Although it's kind of a combination of blacksmithing and magic.
I am kind of a combination of blacksmithing and magic.
Would they get jealous if I took
Shop around a
pamphlets
bit.
from? Yeah, I'm not feeling great, guys. Is all. I just want to get out of here. I don't know. Oh, but really though, do you have like a pamphlet?
Ember, didn't you try to convert me to your goddess?
Well,
Maybe
the
Calvin would be into that.
I mean,
Yes, Elf, would you like to become a cleric with me?
I could take a different life path. I have no idea. I'm very comfortable.
Yeah.
Kilwin,
Saloon's
I'm
a
sure
strange
you
game.
will do fine getting yourself out of here.
Oh yeah.
We'll be alright,
Yeah.
friend. We don't have that much longer to go.
Makes you feel any safer?
I'll say, completely not knowing how much longer we have to go.
Yep.
Jack, I want you to hold on to the eye I'm working on for you for now, because I don't know what's going to happen.
Oh. Okay.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Talking some grim stuff, my friend. Do you know something we don't?
This is a grim place. I just. Oh.
It's not lying. Out of here. We should definitely get out of here as quick as possible, but that's what we were planning on doing anyway.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go up to Calwyn and I'm gonna touch his arm and cast Death Ward. So hopefully, I mean, obviously it won't affect your psyche, but you've got like an extra layer of protection.
I'm gonna go up to Calvin, take him by the shoulder, and indicate the I project. Listen here.
Mhm.
That right there, that's your mission. And when you feel that cold, empty feeling moving in, telling you to lie down, remember, you've still got that mission. That's what's going to get you through this. So you hold on to that, because you're getting through this, right?
I hope so.
Elwyn.
Hmm.
I understand that you're going through some troubles here under the effects of the Shadowfell. However, my deity's reach extends throughout all planes, and I've decided that I'm going to help you. I've decided to touch you with the power of Saloon. I'm going to give Kelvin a little tap on his shoulder, and I'm going to activate my Vigilant Blessing, which gives him advantage on his next initiative roll.
Whoa.
I already. Thank you. I already have that. But I've never had that. I have that from this cool magical item that I made myself, but I've never had that from like a divine power. It feels kind of tingly.
I have two.
Thank you, it's what I always wanted. Oh,
It's the thought that counts.
An additional one. Double initiative. No. Yes.
Wow.
Oh, your god can do the thing that I can do? Cool.
Oh yeah, I can do that with like this rock I enchanted.
Hey, DM,
Well,
Yeah,
thanks.
yeah, that is
guys.
me.
you said
Appreciate
the
that.
end of the road, right? Like the little trail.
Yeah,
We're entering the mountain.
What
You're
are we
entering the
looking
pass.
at?
Yeah, I'm so glad you asked. Laid out before you is there's this path that leads kind of down, and it kind of opens up to this larger area between the mountains. And going from one side of this rocky wall to the other is a huge black stone wall and gate. There are in tiers leading up into the mountain are structures and a city kind of built between these two mountains.
Is this it?
Any sign of inhabitants?
Make a perception check.
After that conversation, Huzescu kind of how he's going to subtly kind of give himself that Vigilant Blessing.
I got a 13, but I'm sure other people are looking too.
I'm no good at perception.
13.
I'll
Got
Yeah.
this.
I got a 22.
Zark, you do make out a lot with your eyes of the eagle that you still have. There are figures walking along the wall. You notice they are all wearing armor, but their movements seem unnatural and sort of forced. There are also several large lumbering ogre figures. You have fought these creatures before. These are reanimated ogres.
So they're ogres of the reanimated type. Got it.
Yeah. This is you can make out is a necropolis, the city of the dead.
I don't see much. What's going on? Anybody else see?
There are also the same banners from the army that you saw, like flying along the walls.
It just turned out this was a regular castle that someone abandoned and Spirit Halloween moved in.
They put the whole Shadowfell here because of the castle.
Jesus.
God damn it.
They'll grab any property they can anyway.
And that's the stream. That's it. I'm done. I quit.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
All right. Yeah, I let everyone know that it appears we've stumbled upon a necropolis. There's some
yes, those things.
City of the Dead, Kelvin.
So is that where we're supposed to go?
Please say
y'all
no.
tell me. Please.
Somewhere in the mountains, so we know.
Well,
Could be worth checking out, I suppose. Yeah.
Do you think it might be worth purifying that city?
oh god.
I wonder if there's somewhere central in the city, somewhere where you could expect leadership to be, or somewhere, I don't know, somewhere guarded, somewhere sacred.
I mean, if it's a whole City of the Dead, it's got to be like a multiple person operation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So.
DM, do the mountains continue on past this necropolis? Like, do we see any higher up bases, locations, or anything like that?
Yeah, there is a peak to the city and like a path that kind of leads up to it. Dark clouds gather around it, kind of swirling about.
Ooh, okay.
A secret tool we'll use later.
It's a secret tool.
Well, nothing for it but to go forward. And if it's through this city, then so be it.
This might be really cool, actually.
It might be.
I wonder
What if we all pretended we were undead people?
I was just thinking that.
Think about it. We all put
Well,
on our Halloween
let's-
costumes.
What?
Yeah, it's October.
Go right
It's
up to the
themed.
gate, trick or treat.
Yes.
Ha.
Do y'all know how to play dead?
What do you have in mind?
And this is where we tell you this is the segue into our Halloween one shot.
I was just thinking, I mean, I've never tried it before. I've never, come across a city of the dead. But, I don't know. I feel like if they see us, the living, they might not like us,
I have to wonder if seeing us would be the only thing they'd do. They'd probably smell us too. Because I can make myself look like this, and I will make myself look dead. I'll look like a sudden corpse version of myself, like rotting flesh. Maggots creeping out of my skin and stuff.
We
do
capture
this,
a few
but-
of the guards, we chop them up, we rub their innards all over us, boom, we're done.
I can fix the smell thing without having to rub guts on us.
Oh?
That thing I do
Prestidigitation.
sometimes? Yeah, that thing, but I do it with little rocks and small objects and stuff.
Ah.
I can do that. Well, I mean, I can choose the odor. It's kind of like the prestidigitation spell, but it's my magical tinkering. I can tinker with a couple of tiny objects to make them emit an odor, for example. I could only do it on 5 myself, but we could stick close together and that'd probably work. So I'd take care of the small part.
With try. And then after that, it's whether we can get by quietly enough. without attracting attention at all. On game. What about you?
I'm
Before we
down.
step foot in that city, I think I'll be casting Detect Evil and Good to make sure that I can keep a close eye out for ambushes. Or anything of that sort.
Mhm.
That's probably smart.
I'm fairly useless here, so whatever your plan is, I'll go with that.
If we ever need that get out of jail free card, I can always, spend 10 minutes casting Forbiddance to clear out the entire city.
10 minutes is a long time, and the entire city is very large.
It is, but large
Today
city,
might have.
plenty of places to hide for 10 minutes.
If we're quiet enough and watchful enough, and we play our cards right, we'll have 10 minutes of time, either to put up the bubble or to cast that spell.
That gives me an idea, actually.
Do you have greater invisibility, Professor? That could help us get through there sneaky.
I do not. I do not have greater invisibility.
That's
Okay.
all right.
I have normal invisibility, which I can cast on. Let's see. 1, 2,
Oh, more people.
3, 4. I can 5 people at max.
I could cast it on 2 people.
I've got good news, gang.
We can
What's
be
that?
invisible for an hour.
So, I've got a spell that can protect me for an entire hour under my concentration, I believe. No, not under my concentration. So, essentially, if I can cast for 1 minute, I can protect myself for an hour, which is long enough to cast Forbiddance. So, in reality, I need 1 minute of time to really be safe for the rest of the, casting of Forbiddance. I can keep undead away.
Alright.
So we could
We'll
probably
have
buy.
options.
We could probably
Yeah.
buy a minute.
Do you guys think I
Yeah.
could just intimidate them?
While they're
Only with
talking,
my
I want
sheer
to.
force.
If anybody could, I bet you could, Elith.
Thanks. What's up?
While they're
Emma?
talking, I want to go over
That
to
sounded double hand.
the last
double-handed.
bike that we fucked up the zombie that was on. Their bones there. Their bones there.
Yeah, charred.
Cool. I'm going to animate dead on it and have a skeleton.
What?
Spooky, scary skeleton.
Yeah.
Straight up necromancer right here?
Go away.
It's not gonna bite, right?
That's impressive.
No,
Oh,
unless
us at least.
Not unless I tell him to. But
Okay.
meet Claude.
Heh.
Claude can scout for us if we need.
There you go. That's a good fit in a lot
Shall we
better
send-
than Penny does here.
Shall we send Claude ahead?
Well, Claude is under my
Probably can't communicate very well. Maybe a backup. But let's continue then, though. Let's start walking towards the Necropolis. Like we're approaching.
I am curious about a thing. Hold on. Okay, so a skeleton is a creature, right?
Indeed, a skeleton is a creature.
Yeah. Okay. Da, 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 da. Okay, so I can cast. I can cast message on the skeleton.
Okay.
It can respond to me telepathically. So, if we want to
Well-
wait, I can have Claude search throughout the city and report back. He's mine for the next 24 hours. What do you say?
If you think that'll work.
How long do you
I
think it'll
don't-
take him
I-
to
I don't
search?
think it'll work, but I have no idea. but
Sounds
it's an
like
option.
we have. Sure. Is this a safe enough place that we can chill here for however long that takes?
I'd recommend we spend this time just getting to know the immediate area and whether we can get in and out of that city if we see a path. Claude can give us an idea about what's inside.
Find the entrance to the city, send Claude in, wait. Good
Yeah,
idea.
that's it. Eleth, perhaps you could give us some eyes from the air, although you may stick out if you do.
I can give Claude a ride.
I think Claude is better suited for the ground than he is for the air.
As we approach the walls, I'm going to ask Ember, why not try messaging your friend now and ask him what his name is?
I'll cast message. Claude, what's your name?
God damn it. I hate when you guys do this. Oh, man.
That's twice he's quit tonight, by the way. We're going for a new record.
Within 10 minutes of each other.
Let's go.
You kind of, like, a few moments, he goes, Scully.
Claude it is.
Scully.
Scully.
I'm going to message Claude again. Claude, do you mind if I call you Claude?
You are the master.
Good, Claude. Do you know what I expect of you?
No.
Claude, we are going to find the entrance to the city. You are going to go into the city and look around and report back to me anything you find.
Okay.
I will rephrase
Cool.
that. You're going to report back anything interesting that is not a road or other undead. You are going to anything that you think I might be interested in. Do you understand, Claude? Maybe a portal. If you could find a portal, that would be very nice.
I will do as you command.
Wonderful. And I turn to Jack. His name is Claude.
All right. It didn't work. You didn't have to be such a sass about it.
Skeletons have a base intelligence of 6.
Yeah, they dumb as shit. That's why I had to clarify.
Wait, is he
Coming back
wait,
500 years later.
Does he... I found Dirt Master. Wait, does he have that cool black armor that we saw some of the skeletons wearing before?
No, he was on the zombies on the pikes. So he kind of like shambles down the path, kind of watches he trips over a rock and falls and gets back up and continues to walk.
He probably
interesting
needs
trick.
a ride, but
Poor little guy.
Grab in, everybody. This is going to be a whole episode of this.
The Adventures of Claude.
Adventures of Claude. New miniseries coming soon.
Start an animatic with Mr. Blue Sky. Saw the sky and the sauce.
This is the entire session of us just taking a break while Claude just goes out on trying to.
Oh
Have Michael
man.
narrate the entire thing.
Could we just get like an artist rendition of like a little derpy skeleton like sitting under a tree or something?
Starving art.
Or like-
on it.
I can just imagine him trying to hold up some dirt and all just falls. Or
Yo, Claude needs
Oh,
his own
man.
Tales of Bossing Say. Just
Yes.
Yes.
Claude's
That'd
in
be so
the
great.
Necropolis.
There is no necromancy in.
Oh man.
And then I guess in the meantime, we're scouting out our own like entrances, exits, that sort of thing. But
Send him to do it, and then we'll just go ahead and do it anyway.
Yeah.
After. Is that what's happening?
Because
yeah, we wanted to come back and report somehow.
Okay.
So DM,
Mm-hmm.
upon our approach,
We got things to
Um,
investigate, it sounds like.
yeah. So are there ways in, that sort of thing, noises, signs of further habitation, anything like that.
Keyholes.
Ways in, ways around.
doors.
Make a perception check.
I have no idea why I have animate dead.
I gave it to you as a scroll. You copied it down.
So I guess a bat flies into my face or something because I rolled a nat 1.
I mean, looking around the Calvin with your 12, it's a built defensible structure. The walls of the city go in a semicircle from one rocky side to another. You can try climbing the mountain itself, but there's no real clear path.
I'm good at climbing things.
I'm not sure how we're going to get in, guys, but this is a pretty well-built, defensible structure.
Ember, you do get your first telepathic communication with Claude. He is at the gate, and there is a not a skeleton, but like a withered corpse, like looking at him with these glowing blue eyes with a green cloak, like kind of like hanging off of him, and like looks close and goes, "Who are you?" You like feel a sense of panic in Claude, and he's like looking around. He's like,
He's shaking in his bones.
he looks at a tree. Goes, "Twig, ground, Durson," and it's like it's just Twig Grounderson. And he looks at the tree. And just like, this is the ground, and this other creature like seems to be like leading the defense of the gate. You may pass.
Oh my god, bro.
Kind of like shuffles into the gate.
Twig, son of the ground.
Bumps into the gate. Wonderful.
The gate is powered by whatever the zombie ogres are on the top. That's really all you see for now.
Okay. Well, good news. There's a withered-looking undead with blue eyes that's guarding the gate. And he let Claude inside. So, also, Claude said his name was Twig Grounderson, so I feel like these things are not hard to fool.
Maybe we could get away with the disguise.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
What is the extent of my alter self spell?
Honestly, at this point, they could be like, "You smell alive," and we could just be like, "No, I don't," and they'd be like, "You're right, carry on."
Carry on.
At this point,
Wow. We are not the living beings you're looking for.
Somehow, I don't know if we'll be that lucky, but we could try.
It's
Give
not
it a
me,
shot.
It's that guy.
At the very least, start a conversation.
Wait to some
And if they don't let us in, they don't let us in.
Ember, you
Point
also
to a
get
random tree, no, you're smelling that.
you get your second communication at this point. As Claude is walking, he does notice that there is a halfling man who is panting, and he runs through this main courtyard of the city where all these hundreds in this area of skeleton zombies are just shambling along, and he just runs out into the open, seems to be getting pursued. He's visibly cut and wounded, and he's just and all of them just immediately snap to him and just start to lunge at him, tearing him apart as he's screaming, "No, no!" And he just watches this gargling scream just gets overran by whatever these things are that just overtook him.
That's terrifying.
Good news, everyone. There are
Good news.
there are live inhabitants of the city.
Are
Bad
they
news.
still alive?
Bad news. Those live inhabitants are being hunted by the unalive inhabitants of the city. So it is possible to get inside while alive.
All right.
He got spotted
Steel
by
ourselves for a
one.
fight.
Yeah. Doesn't
Yep.
seem like much of a fight.
If we have to, I guess if it comes to it, then we could form a circle around Huzescu. Huzescu does his thing, and then we keep going. But we could defend
I
him for about
say-
10 minutes.
I say
feel
we just
pretty
take
confident about
blades
that.
and just run in a circle.
It would only take a minute of your defense for me to be able to put up my
Yeah.
own magical protection,
Yeah.
if necessary. So it's even easier than that, honestly.
If we put you in a corner, I can cast like a Hunger of Hadar or something in front of you. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of options.
Wall of fire lasts for a minute.
Mm.
I don't see any of those things getting through a wall of fire.
That is true.
I
So
can't
it seems
cast
like
10 of them, but I can cast.
we have a means
Six.
to guarantee the casting, basically. But
If we-
it's just a matter of when we decide to do it.
If
Let's go. Let's speak to these gate guards then.
Hmm,
All right.
Don't you want more information from Claude?
Perhaps. But I wonder how much we'll get at this point.
Been useful so far. We know we
Yeah.
can get in. We know they're easily fooled. We know that if they find out if you're alive, they will all try and eat you.
Well, I suppose we should put on a convincing act then.
Yeah.
Are you checking on Claude for a third time, Ember?
Yeah.
So you kind of like patch into through his eyes through telepathic communication, and you see him. He's like kind of like kneeling down, like doing that Japanese squat, looking at a black flower.
Aw.
I want to tell him to pick the flower.
Picks it up.
Just keep it with him. Keep moving.
Okay.
I didn't prepare disguise self today because I never prepare disguise self because I never need to disguise myself. I should have prepared disguise self. If we're going in,
Yeah,
I'm going to turn myself invisible.
Yeah, I don't have alter self today, but I do have invisibility.
Go invisible.
I
Anyone else?
can cast it on somebody else as well.
Who else would like to be invisible? Anybody?
Zark, Shada, Yuzeski?
I can handle my own invisibility if need be.
I might need it.
Okay.
Pass it to the next person.
I'll
Okay.
I think
take
I'm the only
care
one.
of my. Was that Zark?
I
Do you
think
need
I'm
it?
the only one. Yeah, I need assistance.
All right, I'll
I need
cover
to know.
myself. I'll cover myself and Zark and Shada.
Okay, then I'll just cover myself, unless
Actually,
was-
What about you, Ella?
I'll do myself and Shada. You can do Zark.
I'm trying to put
Okay.
together a plan right now.
Okay.
Because I don't have any disguises. I don't really have invisibility.
You have your broom, though.
I do have my broom. I have prestidigitation and whatever this one is. Thaumaturgy.
Thaumaturgy.
Yes, that one.
Would
You could be
like,
loud
Those
with that
Would-
one.
Would
and
you like to
kind
be
of-
invisible?
Yes, maybe. Yes, because I don't think.
All right.
Yeah, because I don't think I can feign my own death.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll
Um,
get myself Shada, Elith.
And
Ellis,
we still
you
have.
could, on your broom, get right up over the wall, keep an eye on us, and then meet up with us at a public spot if we manage to get through. And if we don't manage to get through, you would at least have the drop on them from afar.
True. And I can go very high in the sky. I
Yeah.
can get a
Yep.
good distance, so.
Can I join you on the broom?
Yep.
If-
How
Excellent.
high
All right.
do you go?
Take one of my death rocks then that makes you smell not alive then.
Me?
Can be invisible on a broom.
Well,
Yeah.
I got 4 more.
So,
That's all right.
I'll take one.
Yes, you should take one. You should,
Yeah.
Okay.
just in case.
DM real quick. By this gate, are there like guard towers anywhere, or is it just like a gate and a giant wall?
There are, and there in each tower on each side of the gate there are these wheels that can be turned to open up the gate.
DM,
Yes.
how tall is the gate?
50 feet. Maybe no, like more than that. I think how many me's would I want this gate to be? Yeah, like 50 feet. That's pretty tall.
Okay, I'm gonna fly Ember and I up a total of 100 feet, so about 50 feet above the wall,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll just wait for the queue, I guess. We never discussed a queue, but
Keep an eye on us and follow.
Yep.
And
like to
Aleph, are
see
you
what
invisible?
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay.
I would like to see what Claude is up to.
So Claude is making his way more into the city. He is currently petting a cat.
Is it a
Orange
live
tabby.
cat?
This is petting as like it says, its furry face, and then it turns to look at him, and like the other half is like zombified and skeletal. It's like, ow.
Just tell him to put the cat in his rib cage. Keep walking.
I love
Take-
that.
I'll tell him. Take the cat.
Take the cat.
Oh my god, I want
Picks
that
up the cat, and it just goes into his rib cage. He's walking.
Wow.
You can continue petting the cat as you walk through the town.
Thank you, master.
Oh man.
Yo, by the time we're done with this session, I'm gonna set him up with like a house in the town and a cat and a job.
Claude, pay that mortgage.
With what?
Hmm.
Flowers.
Master. Just making sure you're there.
So, the rest of us on the ground are approaching the gang. I am making myself look dead. Like I've got the death rock in my hand. I've got like my my clothes kind of look like me, but tattered a little bit. Skin's gray, kind of rotting. Like this eye's like kind of melted, a little missing. Yeah, teeth exposed.
Make a deception check with advantage.
Okay. I dig it. I like doing those with advantage.
Are you the only one who's like a zombie dude? Is everybody else just invisible?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
If I had
30?
if I had alter self, I would have done that.
At least Jack was the one. 'Cause
30.
30. All right.
Mm.
I'm considering I'm weighing my options here because I could cast greater invisibility on myself, but not regular invisibility.
greater
And
invisibility only lasts a minute.
I know.
Normal
that's my-
invisibility
oh,
is
yeah.
an hour.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I mean, I could just fly.
Can you be invisible and fly?
With your concentration.
Well, no. The flying part is in concentration. I can just magically fly in dim light.
Oh.
This is the thing I can do.
Oh, because the moon goddess.
Yes. I can harness moon energy. It's
And
fun.
this is all dim light.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So basically, I could just fly here. But yeah, the
I don't know
invisible.
why you would ever want to leave this plane of existence if you can just fly
Honestly,
all the
I think we
time.
should stay. I don't see
God
any.
is just gonna throw him the sunblade and say, "Hey, push the button on it." It's like 50 feet off the ground.
It's like, okay, this is like a lightsaber, and then just starts plummeting to the ground like as fast as
Turn it
possible.
off! Turn it off!
Guys, you're ruining my deception shot.
Sorry.
I suppose I'll do it.
So what is everybody doing? Ember and Elif are invisible and flying. Jack
Shada
is
is also
disguised.
invisible.
Yeah, everyone else is invisible, and I'm disguised.
Maybe like in an invisible like,
probably.
conga line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a fly team there's a flying team and a ground team.
So Jack, very convincingly, you walk up to the gate. There is a number of undead creatures here, including some spectral ones. This, withered, almost like an unwrapped mummy, like what you would see a mummy to look like if it didn't have the bandages around it. Wearing a green, tattered, hooded cloak and a staff, kind of like steps where he goes, "Who are you?"
One
I have-
wisdom, 6 passage.
Very well. They open up the gate for you.
Okay.
I have to go line very fast.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like sort of make kind of gathering motions with my arm, but also just kind of walk through the door, dragging my foot a little bit. Like, okay. Do I feel anything weird on crossing the threshold?
I mean, you step into what seemed to be once a very beautiful city that is now the buildings are dilapidated. There's moss growing all across the buildings, dry and hanging amongst the dead trees. Shades of, the grays. Just everything is dreary. Amazingly, Jack, you also turned yourself to be a little bit more uncolored. When I said green cloak, he's not wearing a green cloak. He's wearing a gray cloak. Everything you see are non-colored.
Right.
Oh yeah. You said moss was in the trees?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to try. Yeah, I'm going to activate my steps of the night and start flying.
Okay.
And I'm going to try to kind of pick some moss from the trees, and I'm going to layer it on top of myself and make myself try to look like this ghastly, like wraith-like creature that kind of like floats around.
Make a deception check.
Will do.
He's invisible and he's trying to turn himself visible.
No, I'm not invisible.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, mine would last 1 minute, which would be inefficient
Okay.
for the amount of magic I have to use.
So 15, duly noted.
So I'll just kind of like limply float around like a ghost of some sorts.
Yeah. Don't split up. Let's just keep walking. So I'm gonna keep
Ember
walking
and
towards
Elif,
a
what are you doing
central
at this
plaza.
point?
I'd like to check in on Claude.
I
Okay.
He is a cat and a flower.
Elif, what were you saying?
Oh, sorry. I wanted to keep an eye out for any, like long range, any casters, any, archers, and I would also like to ready an Eldritch Blast,
Make-
if possible.
A perception check.
Sure. Give me just 1 second. And you said perception, right?
Yep.
Okay.
You're looking around a large area.
Yeah, I just have to find it for some reason. Rolling now. I got a 15.
15. Looking around, there is definitely a caster at the gate, the one who is interviewing people as they walk in. There seems to be many archers along the walls. The skeletal guards that are wielding bows. The thing that sticks out here is that you fought zombies before. They were rather easy to take down. These ones are armored. They seem to have more intelligence. When I say intelligence, more awareness of their current state of being than a standard zombie would be. And you begin to gather that these were not summoned.
Okay.
As the rest of you are walking through the city, there are children playing in the street. People going about their business. The child picks up a ball and looks at you, Jack, a withered face and a slit throat that's been long dried and decayed. Maggots kind of falling off its eye socket.
I want to keep track of the time because the spell is an hour long. If we get to about 50 minutes, I would like to know.
Okay.
Same.
Yeah. Okay. I'm hopefully out of earshot. I'm gonna at some point make a just mutter under my breath. If you'll tap me on the shoulder now, so I know that you're still there.
Tap him.
That's just one of you.
Oh, we're in a conga line.
Okay. Yeah.
Tap him a couple more times.
All right.
You feel a cat paw hit you several times. Whack, 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 whack.
An ember.
The baps.
Do I also see
Still
this?
there?
What were you saying, Hugh?
Do I also see this small little boy?
I mean,
Okay,
you just see that it was just standard. It seems like a normal city with people going about their business aside from their rotting and decaying. But aren't we all?
Okay. I'm gonna kind of float close to this boy, and I'm going to give him some wisdom.
Okay.
You gonna teach him something?
Yes, I am. It's a very important thing. Could save his life one day.
Okay.
Well,
Life.
I don't know if it'll save his life, but it'll save.
Better
Some.
late than never.
I'm going to come, within a few feet of him. I'm gonna let him know. All right. So, if you ever feel that you're in immediate danger, let me teach you this magic word, right? If you ever say the word apricot, you will be, saved from that danger. Trust me. It works. And I'm going to float off. Right? Apricot.
Oh, saving the cute little zombie kids from destruction.
Okay. You guys are noticing these banners are hanging around the city of this 3 few skulls, one the center one with a crown and a sword going through it, throughout the whole city.
I'm banners, 3 small skulls. Okay, it's where the Legion went. I'm looking for a quiet spot. I'm looking for a room, an unoccupied space somewhere out of sight. Where conceivably everybody who is invisible, who's about to stop being invisible, can hide and recast.
Do I know what the banners are? Do you have any idea?
Make a history check. And Ellis, you're kind of keeping an eye on Jack as he moves throughout the city as well.
Mm-hmm.
What is my history? Oh, okay. 18.
18. What this particular banner is, no. You are familiar with the 3 skulls.
Okay.
Though. There are creatures that have domains over the Shadowfell called Skull Lords. They are not as powerful as a Lich would be, but they are particularly powerful undead in general and seem to have raided a number of cities and provinces in the Shadowfell and taken domain over them themselves. This city was probably once a very beautiful Shadow Kai dark reflection of the immortal realm, but has since then been taken over and warped by whoever this lord is and his undead forces.
Gotcha. Cool.
So, Jack, make an investigation check.
Sure, here it comes. Natural 20, that's a 30.
Yeah, easily
Figure
enough,
out.
you find like a partially collapsed building that seems to be uninhabited. Eleth and Ember, you do watch him go inside. The roof is, there's a hole in the roof that you could probably sneak down into.
Let's go on the roof and look at that.
All right, so you all regroup,
Reasonably, yes.
and the second floor of this abandoned building, just as your invisibility drops.
Okay.
I would like to know what
All right.
Claude is up to.
Claude is in the getting closer to the inner area of the city, the top, like one of the top tiers. There is a fortress there, but there's a path that leads past it to a cavern above it. Some
Okay.
sort of seal.
There's a fortress, the cavern. Okay.
Whatever we do here, guys, I can keep both me and Zark invisible for at most another 2 hours.
That sounds like we make a beeline for whatever it is that cavern is. And that's on taking it on faith that that's where we need to be.
I can recast the invisibility on myself and Shada and Ellis. I can cover Hughes SQ too if he would like.
Yes.
Okay, so far so good. Let's stick together closely, and I suppose we go where Claude is, huh?
Follow Claude.
Yeah.
I have
Ember,
a-
if you could follow close with me, and then at least guide me to where he is.
Sure, I was about to ask, do I have like a general idea of where he is, like how he got there?
Yeah, the entire time he's kind of been like sitting. You've gotten flashes of images in your mind. You have a general idea of where he is.
Okay.
Yeah. Great.
Well,
Okay, so
I'm not sure I can get us there, but I will try. Yep, and I
suppose we can
will
try.
turn
No
us
matter what.
invisible.
Yeah. No matter what, let's just not split up. Okay. So we're buddying up, I think. Ember's my buddy.
Am I your buddy?
I guess so.
That's so nice. Thank you.
Jada can be my buddy.
I'll make sure we
All right then.
distribute the death-smelling stones accordingly.
Oh. Zark, Kelwin, and Hughes asking the three new guys who are like at the back.
And at this point, you guys hear a voice. You all should be more careful. Kind of stepping out of the shadows in the corner of the room is the Shadow Kai elf that you met when you first entered the Shadowfell.
Who are you?
Well, most of us aren't. Invisible. So.
Seems we weren't careful enough.
He didn't drop yet.
You do notice that her
Recap
eyes are kind of glowing with this white light. does have true sight right now.
Interesting.
Our friends from before. It's good to see you again.
Fancy running into you here.
And not the nicest of places.
No. You told us before that there was a way out through the mountains. Are we close?
Very. Just up.
Could you help us get
And
there?
perhaps. But maybe you could provide some assistance to me as well.
In what form?
I must admit, my companions and I may have directed you this way for the same purpose. You see, the creature that is over this land took it from us.
I had assumed as much.
He slew our friends, our family, converted them into what they are now, and just us three are all that's left.
And what would you have of us?
We will
How
get
could we
you
help?
into the fortress. We will help you get up the mountain and into the prison of the insatiable. But you must help us vanquish Mordurnin, the School Lord.
Is he among the dead, then?
Yes. 3 of his lieutenants
have a-
are scattered across the city, one of which
I see.
you got past at the gate.
I see. We have a way of indiscriminately obliterating every undead within a certain area. If we were to do something like that, would that help achieve this purpose? It would be loud and unsubtle, but we could do that.
Just the way we like it.
Would you do that to those kids out there?
They know the magic word.
It's a good question.
Does it have the ability to defeat particularly powerful undead?
Possibly. And if not, it would severely hurt them.
Don't know until we try.
Well, I for one can guarantee to you it's powerful enough to wipe out most. Unless they're beyond magic itself, beyond the effects of my spells, they're very likely to die within a minute for sure. At the most, they could probably survive in there for a minute.
I'm thinking about that child.
Well,
Arnie,
it's
I'm
not,
happy here.
it's not big enough to target the whole city, though, right?
Your spell can go up to 40,000 square feet. It doesn't have to contain all of 40,000 square feet, correct?
Well, that is true. I shared a password with one of those boys, hoping that wisdom will spread far enough to protect the rest of them.
Do you think
That's what you were doing.
I felt sympathy for them. Apricot's the password to forbiddance. They'll be spared from the effects of it.
What about their parents?
I'll have to live without them. They're too much of a threat.
A bleak way of looking at it.
do we know that?
It's a bleak sort of place.
Yeah. Land of the dead.
Uh,
Bit of
Well, it isn't
Political.
always
do
this
we
way.
know? Do we know the Shatterkai's name?
No.
Okay. I will tap the Shatterkai on the shoulder. What do you feel about all of the undead that aren't here murdering and are just here living.
They only do not murder because they do not know that you're among the living.
Right, but if the living don't come here, they won't murder. If they have their own city, maybe take out the person who's invading other cities and leave them one of their own.
The
Maybe.
city.
I think we should focus on him.
The city is more than just a home. We were charged with the responsibility of guarding the prison that the city was built around.
The prison contained.
You
But
mentioned the
undead currently guarding the prison. Indirectly.
In a way. What if one as powerful as your cleric comes by, would they not be just more fodder?
If another zombie skeleton king comes in and there's only 3 of you left, what happens then?
Well, if you wish to keep this place forever purified from the wretched hands of the undead, if I spent a month here in this town each day casting the same spell, eventually it becomes permanent until dispelled, which would be a bit of a temporary way to kind of get rid of it, seeing as one with enough magical power could possibly dispel it. Is there enough time? Temporary fix.
If you will help us with passage back to the material plane, we will focus at the very least on the one who is your problem, the commander of the dead.
and
Any more that we could take out in the meantime, if it helps you, then we could pursue that option as well. But at the very least, we could help you with him.
the name of the one you mentioned in the prison. We also want them to stay there. His generals affect our plane of existence in the material world.
And when they are ready, they will come for him.
Your job is to prevent that, to try to keep him there.
It was.
What is your job now?
I failed.
To keep the generals or the
city, to secure the city.
There used to be thousands of us. Generations. A mere moment in your world is weeks here.
Oh,
I see.
Is there anything that can be done to fortify that defense? That barrier?
Honestly, I do not know. But perhaps with your friend's assistance and the difference of time, we may be able to fortify it somewhat.
Well, it sounds like we have work to do.
I think it is our benefit to help them regain control of this city.
Yes. So they can help us out of here. And beyond that, I think the undead will become a problem. One way or the other.
I'm gonna cast message send a message to Claude. And when the moment comes, the word is apricot.
Yes.
And with that message, that is where we're going to end the session for this evening.
Oh.
Dope.
As you all begin to debate on what to do next with this Necropolis. So everyone, thank you so much for tuning to our session tonight. If you haven't already, don't forget to hit that follow button and tune into our sessions every week at 8 p.m. at EST here at twitch.tv/PrestigeGC Wednesdays. Yeah, guys, session 80, that was pretty fun. All of our role players want to give them mad props and thanks. First and foremost, the girl who needs a little bit of help, El Hisago, our tiefling warlock.
Thank you. This was a super fun session. I don't know about you guys, but I had a blast. So,
For sure.
Had a few
anyways,
blasts.
good night. Oh yeah.
Eldritch Blast.
And I'm gonna pass it off to Ember, our fire wizard master.
I like that. Fire Wizard Master.
No,
Yeah. That's my new title. Stop calling me the professor. I'm now the Fire Wizard Master.
Tell you the professor.
No, it was a really cool session. I have some thinking that I need to do because this session has changed my opinion on some things, and we'll see where it goes. Yeah. See you guys next week. Gonna pass it on to our new guy. What's up, new guy? Hughes SQ.
Not much. That was a super fun session. Lots of moral grays that really came up to do with the undead, and whether or not we should vaporize an entire city. So make sure to tune in next week, because definitely going to be very eventful. You know, something's definitely going down in the city. Whether or not we end up unearthing some ancient evil or vaporizing everything all at once and just clearing everything out. It's going to be tons of fun, so make sure to be there for that. I'm going to pass it off to Shada.
Thank you. The session was awesome. Cannot wait to see what one, to get out of the Shadowfell, and to also figure out what we're going to do with this situation that we have on our hands.
Can't say
In
too
which-
much. He's scrying on us.
Yeah, this is can't say too much anymore. In that I will pass it off to Elven Iron Man here.
That's right. Thanks everybody. That was so much fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. Keep hanging around with us and should have lots more fun to come. I'm gonna pass it off to our man who has created his own legend. Midnight Jack.
Oh, the peasants did that for me. But it's this was lovely. Thank you so much for joining us, and I do hope to see you next week. Oh wait, next week is our one shot, isn't it?
That's
No.
in 2 weeks.
That's another week from now. 2 weeks from now. Okay, yeah, that's gonna be fun.
So
I can't wait to see how this is gonna go.
actually, after next week, it's going to be 2 weeks before our campaign returns, because the week after the one shot, we have a break. So important to note.
Big
there.
finish next week. Big finish.
So
Awesome.
next week is still as normal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't mess up. Cool. Well, with that, I'm going to pass it off to Zach Nisela. Close it out for us, Zaki.
All right. Yeah, I had a lot of fun this session. Just probably one of my favorite sessions we've had so far. Only 80 sessions later.
I don't know if that's an
Jeez.
insult or what.
You are welcome. Anyway, but yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in. And I'd like to throw it back to our wonderful DM, Salkos.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great rest of your night. We'll see you next week here at twitch.tv/PrestigeGC. Until then, Bye.
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 Bye-bye now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye.